Hello everyone, welcome back to another session by SSBCrack exams. I am Drishti and today we are discussing the most important formulas of numerical ability section of AFCAT, that is Air Force Common Admission Test, and in this particular session we will discuss the important formulas of percentage. So out of 18 to 20 questions of numerical ability section, we are getting around 2 to 3 questions from percentage itself. So this makes percentage a very important topic, and let's discuss the important formulas of percentage so that you will be able to solve all the questions from percentage in your examination. So this is the formula and it states that percentage increase or decrease in a quantity when it increases or decreases by some value. So we can find the percentage increase or decrease of a quantity if it is increases or decreases by some value and it is given by increase or decrease in the value divided by initial value into 100. Right? So this is the most common formula of percentage. Let's take an example based upon this. So this is the example and it states that rent of the house is increased from 7,000 to 7,700. Express the increase in price as a percentage of the original rent. So we have to find the percentage increase in the rent and we know the formula. So firstly the change in the value divided by original value into 100 will give us the percentage increase. So here we know that the increase is going from 7,000 to 7,700. So total change will be 7,700 minus 7,000 divided by the initial rent, that is 7,000 into 100. So it will be equals to 700 divided by 7,000 into 100. Right? So this 2 zeros will cancel with this 2, 1 with 1 and 7 ones are 7. Right? So it will be 10. Right? So the answer will be 10%. That is, the rent is increased by 10% of the original rent. Option D should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option D is correct only. Now coming upon to next formula, so it states that if the value of an object is first changed, that is increased or decreased by x% and then changed by y%, then the net effect is given by plus minus x plus minus y plus minus x into plus minus y divided by 100%. And here the net effect is an increase or a decrease according to the positive or the negative sign respectively of the final result. See here, if the price of a thing, see we have taken a car and the price of a car is first increased by 10% and then it is increased by 15% and we have to find the net increase or decrease in the price of the car. So we can use this formula of the simultaneous change. Right? And here as 10% is the increase, so we'll take 10 as positive, that is x will be plus 10, and as the price is decreasing by 15%, so y will be minus 15. Okay, now we can easily put the values here, so it will be 10 minus 15 plus it will be 10 into minus 15 divided by 100%. Right? So we have to always take care of the signs in this formula, as otherwise we can result in the wrong answer. Okay. Also the net increase or decrease will depend upon the final sign of the answer. Okay. So now let's take an example based upon this. So this is the formula and it states that the price of an article is first increased by 20% and later on it is decreased by 25% due to reduction in sales. Then find the net percent change in the final price of the article. So here we are given that the price is first increased by 20%, that is x will be plus 20. Right? And then the price is decreased by 25%. So here our y will be minus 25. Now we have to apply the formula and the formula states that x plus y plus x into y by 100. Right? And here we have to take the signs of x and y positively. Okay. So now let's put the values. So it will be equals to x, that is 20, plus y, and the y is minus 25, so it will be minus 25 plus x into y. So 20 into minus of 25 divided by 100. Right, now we will solve this out. So it will be 20 minus 25 minus 20 into 25 by 100. So it will be 25 ones are 25 fours are and 4 ones are 4 fives are. Right, so it will be 20 minus 30, that will be minus 10%. Right, so we have got the net change as minus 10%. So this minus sign denotes that there will be overall decrease in the price. So the final price of the article will decrease by 10%. That is option A should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option A is correct only. Now coming upon to next formula, so it states that if A is x% more or less than B, then B would be x by 100 plus minus x into 100% of percent less or more than A. Okay, so here we are given some type of questions, like we are given that A is x% more than B, and then we have to calculate how much percent less will be of A. Okay, so whenever A will be more than B, then B will be less than A. Similarly, if A will be less than B, then B will be more than A. Right, so here we can easily apply this formula, that is x upon 100 plus x into 100 in the case of increase, and x upon 100 minus x into 100 in the case of decrease, right, or the less quantity. So let's take an example based upon this. So this is the example, and it states that if income of Ravi is 25% more than that of Ram, then the income of Ram is how much percent less than that of Ravi, right? So here we are given that income of Ravi is 25% more than that of Ram, that is x is 25, and we have to calculate how much percent less will be the income of Ram than that of Ravi. So we know the formula, and it is given by 100 into x divided by 100 plus x. Because we know that the income of Ram is more than income of Ravi is more than Ram, and in the case of more we always take the plus sign. Okay, now let's put the values. So it will be equals to 100 into 25 divided by 125. Now 25 ones are 25 fives are 5 ones are 5 20s are, right? So it will be 20%. So if the income of Ravi is 25% more than that of Ram, then the income of Ram will be 20% less than that of Ravi. That is option B should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option B is correct only. Now coming upon to the next formula, so it states that if the price of commodity is increased or decreased by x%, then the increase or decrease in the consumption, so as not to increase or decrease the expenditure, is given by x divided by 100 plus minus x into 100%. So this formula is similar or exactly similar with that of the previous one, but here we need to remember the statement of the question, because this is also very important type of question based upon percentage, and you can take a lot of time while solving this with the traditional method or the conceptual method. Okay, so if you remember the formula, here we are given that the commodity price of commodity is increased by x%, and we need to find the decrease in the consumption, right? So whenever the price is increased, we will use the formula that x divided by 100 plus x into 100%. Right, and in the case of decrease in the price of commodity, so if the price of commodity will decrease, then the consumption will automatically increase, and in the case of increase in the consumption, we will take the negative sign here. Okay, so let's take an example based upon this formula. So this is the example, and it states that the price of sugar is increased by 50%. If a family wants to keep its expenses on sugar unaltered, then the family will have to reduce the consumption of the sugar. See, if we need to keep the expenses unaltered, then in case if we are increasing the price, then the consumption will automatically decrease. Okay, and here it is given that the increase is given by 50%. So x is our 50%, and we now require to find the decrease in the consumption, and it is given by x upon 100 plus x into 100%, right? So here we know that x is 50, so it will be 50 divided by 100 plus 50 will be 150 into 100. It is percent, right? So 50 ones are 50 and 50 threes are 150. So it will be 100 divided by 3 or 33.33%. That is option A should be the correct answer. So the family need to reduce their consumption by 33.33% in order to keep their expenses unaltered. Right? Let's take the answer. So yes, option A is correct only. Now coming upon to the next formula. So next formula is based upon the population. Okay, so if the population of a town is P and it increases or decreases at the rate of R% per annum, then the population after n years will be given by P into 1 plus minus R by 100 to the power n. Right? So when the population is increasing, we have to take the plus sign, and when it is decreasing, we have to take the negative sign. Okay, so in order to find the population after some years, when it is increasing at a particular rate of R%, then we can directly use this formula to find the population. Also, if we are given with the population and we need to find the population of the previous years, see, like it is given that you have to find that the recent or the current population is P and it is increasing at a rate of R%, and we have to find the population 2 years ago. So in that case, we are given with this value, right? Here our P1, we can take it as P1. So P1 will be this value, and we have to calculate the value of P here. So we can take this whole quantity in the denominator. So population n years ago will be given by current population divided by 1 plus minus R to the R divided by 100 to the power n, right? So you need to remember these formulas directly, as by applying these formulas you can easily solve the questions. So let's take the example based upon this. This is the example, and it states that the population of a town is 500, and if it increases at a rate of 10% per annum, then what will be its population after 2 years? So here P is given as 500 and the population is increasing at a rate of 10% per annum, and here the T will be 2 years because we have to calculate the population after 2 years. So we know the formula, and it is P into 1 plus R divided by 100 to the power n. As the population is increasing, we have to take the plus sign here. Now we can put all the values in the formula to find the answer. So here P is 500 into 1 plus R is 10 divided by 100 to the power n, and n is 2 here, right? Now we can solve it easily. So it will be 500 into, this 0 will cancel with this 0. So 10 plus 1 will be 11 by 10 into 11 by 10. As we are taking the square here, now these zeros will be cancelled out with this 0. Now 121 into 5. It will be equals to 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 10, then 5 ones are 5 plus 1 will be 6, right? So population after 2 years will be 605. That is option B should be the correct answer. Let's take. So yes, option B is correct only. Now coming upon to the next formula, so it states that if the present population of a city is P and there is an increment or decrement of R1%, R2% and R3% in first, second and third year respectively, then the population of the city after 3 years is given by P into 1 plus minus R1 by 100 into 1 plus minus R2 by 100 into 1 plus minus R3 by 100. So in this case, if the population is increasing or decreasing at different rates every year, then we have to use this formula of successive increase or decrease in the population to find the increased population after 3 years, right? So let's take an example based upon this formula. So this is the example, and it states that the population of a town is 144,000, that is 1,44,000. If it increases by 5% during first year, during the second year it decreases by 10% and increases by 15% during the third year, then what will be the population after 3 years? Okay, so here R1 will be the 5% as population is increasing at the rate of 5% in the first year. Then R2 will be 10%, but the population is decreasing here. So we have to take the negative sign. And the population is increasing again in the third year at the rate of 15%. So R3 will be 15. Now we have to find the population after 3 years. So we know the formula, and it is given by P into 1 plus R1 by 100 into 1 minus R2 by 100 into 1 plus R3 by 100. Right? So I have taken the negative sign here because we can see that in the second year the population is decreasing. So now we can put all the values here. So it will be P into 1 plus 5 by 100 into 1 minus 10 by 100 into 1 plus 15 by 100. Right? Now we can solve it out. So 5 ones are 5, 5 20s are 100. Similarly, we can cancel out the 0, and here it will be 5 3s are 50 and 5 20s are 100. So it will be P, and now P is also given. So P is 1,44,000, right? So here it will be 1 plus 1 by 20. So it will be 21 by 20. Similarly, 1 minus 1 by 10. So it will be 9 by 10, and 1 plus 3 by 20. So it will be 23 by 20, right? Now we can cancel out the zeros. So this will cancel out with this, this and this, right? Now you can solve this statement. So it will be 2 ones are 2, 2 sevens are 14 and 2 twos are 4. Then 2 ones are 2 and it will be 36. So the final answer will be 36 into 21 into 9 into 23. Right? So now you can check the multiplication yourself, and the answer for this question will be equals to 156,492. Right? You can check this multiplication, and the final answer for this question should be option A. Let's check. So yes, option A is correct only. So now I hope all the important formulas based upon percentage for your upcoming AFCAT exam are very much clear to you. Also, if you are preparing for AFCAT exam and want to excel in your preparation and pass the exam with flying colors, you can always check our courses and download our learning app. That will be very much helpful for you in boosting your performance. Also, for more such interesting sessions, stay tuned to SSBCrack exams. Jai Hind.
Hello AFCAT aspirants, welcome back to SSBCrack exams. I am Lakshmi, Maths Mentor, and here I am back with another lecture in the most important formula based lecture series. This time I will be discussing the formulas which are there for you from the chapter of profit, loss and discount to remember to tackle good number of questions in numerical ability section of your upcoming AFCAT examination. Let me recall you once again, most of the questions in numerical ability section you can easily find in your AFCAT exam to tackle and go ahead with the formula approach. So knowing all the formulas on your tips will gonna save you most of your time to attempt the questions in numerical ability section of AFCAT examination. So let's look into the very first formula part of this session based upon profit, loss and discount concepts. So let's begin with the session with the very basic formulae that are part of profit and loss chapter. So let's recall the gain formula. You know that gain is calculated by difference of SP and CP, because you know a shopkeeper will be getting a gain when he sells more amount than the cost price for him, right? And the loss he occurred when there is a cost price more for him than the selling price. So CP minus SP is the formula for loss. So these are basic two formulae for the profit and loss chapter. And then comes the formulae, the basics one, when you are about to calculate the gain percentage and the loss percentage. Gain percentage will be calculated as a gain into 100 upon CP. Some people read this formula as also gain upon CP into 100. So it is the same formula, alright. Similarly, loss percent is equals to loss into 100 upon CP, or you can read sometime it as loss upon CP into 100. So understand that to calculate this gain percent, you shall know the gain, right? So gain upon CP into 100, and as well as to calculate loss percent, you shall know the loss. So loss upon CP into 100. Very simple formula. So based upon this, let's tackle one example. A person who buys a toy for rupees 50 and sells it for rupees 75. So what will be his gain percent? Very clear instruction in the question. He buying a toy for the rupees of 50. So cost price for a boy is rupees 50. That's a cost price of toy. And the selling price that he is selling it for the rupees 75. So selling price SP is rupees 75. So we shall calculate what? The gain percent. For that we know the formula. Let's go with gain percent. Formula is equals to gain upon CP into 100. And how do you get the gain? Gain, you know, SP minus CP. So 75 minus 50, it's 25. 25 upon CP is 50 into 100. So let's calculate this. So 51, 52. So you could see that it's 50%. So gain for this person is 50%. Alright. And hence the right key for this particular question is option number C. Coming upon to next set of formulae for profit and loss chapter, and these are very important formulae, please remember, and very simple to get the answers very easily, either to calculate the selling price or the cost price based upon either gain percentage or loss percentage. So you have to correctly choose one of the formula among these four basic formulae. Okay, suppose you are about to calculate the selling price and in the question they have given you loss percentage and CP. Then you can go with the first formula. That is SP is equals to 100 minus loss percent upon 100 into CP. But when they give you gain percent, so the formula changed to 100 plus gain percent by 100 into CP. So there is a hint, simple, that whenever there is given gain percent, so the formula change as plus 100 plus gain percent, because plus indicates something like some amount like getting added kind of. So you can remember that way this formula. When loss percent is given, the formula is 100 minus loss percent upon 100 into CP, and when gain percent is given, the numerator change to 100 plus gain percent upon 100 into CP. So these are formulae for calculation of SP when CP are given. But when SPs are given and you are asked about CP with respect to gain and loss percentage, then these are the formulae. So the formula cost price CP is equals to 100 upon 100 plus gain percent into SP. Same formula, just the reciprocal. So for calculation of CP, formulas are the reciprocal, the brackets are the reciprocals. So simple you can remember, and same concept, gain percent there is 100 plus gain percent, and for loss 100 minus loss percent. So these are the formula you can directly use in the calculation of CPs when they give you SP or gain percent, SP or loss percent. Alright, so let's check out an example then how we can implement these basic formulae one by one to come to the final conclusion to our answer. So here is an example. By selling a watch for rupees 1440, a man loses 10%. So what is this? This is the loss percent mentioned for a man, and he selling a watch for rupees 1440. So this is SP amount. Okay, at what price should he sell? Means they ask you SP only. Should he sell to get the gain percent 10? Means this question is a combination. Initial conditions are like SP is given and loss percent is given. But what is unknown is CP. Take that CP, and then for the second scenario, to calculate the SP for the gain percent 10, you have to use that CP. So hence we first of all will be using the formula of CP to calculate, right? Because CP is unknown for the first transaction, and CP formula is 100 upon 100 minus loss percent, that is 10, into SP provided in the question. So we have 100 upon 90 into What is that SP provided? 1440. So 0 cancel. And we know that 9196. So we are getting this as 1600 rupees. What is it? It's a CP for the first transaction. That man sold a watch for 1440 and loses 10%. So the CP for him was 1600. So with this CP now, if suppose that man was to sell it with a gain of 10%, then what should be the SP? So SP formula we have, it's a reciprocal, because see here gain percent is given. So we have the formula 100 plus gain percent, that's 10 upon 100 into CP, and CP is known to us 1600. So this becomes 110 upon 100 into 1600. So we can cancel these two zeros and we could see that 16 into 110, answer amounts to 1760 rupees. And this is how we obtain the correct key for this particular question. It's option A. I hope you understood this question. So this is how question can be expected in your defense exam. You have to be alert, understand, and there we use two formula at a time. First we calculated CP and then we calculated SP. Alright, now coming upon to the next formula for the topic of profit and loss. When there are two successive profits, of X% and Y%, then the resultant profit percent is given by this formula. And this formula is repetitive for you because you must have studied the net change formula in the percentage topic as well. So this formula resembling the same, whenever there is a profit we indicate it by plus, and whenever there is a loss we indicate it by loss. So this same formula you can formulate for the resultant loss also. You can formulate for the resultant loss also. How do you formulate? You can formulate in the negative sense. So minus x minus y, right, plus xy upon 100, because minus into minus, it will be plus only there, right. So here I am giving you the hint, a formula for resultant profit percent. When you know that there are two successive profits, X% and Y%, to know the resultant profit for a product. So this is the formula. The formula is x plus y plus xy upon 100. Very simple. And based upon this, let us check what kind of questions are expected in your defense exam. So here is an example. A sells a cycle to B at 20% profit. Note, this is X. First profit mentioned for a product, the cycle. Okay, that person A is selling to B. But person B is again selling it to C at profit of 25%. So 25% is, this is Y, the second profit on the same product price, right? Now, it is mentioned that the person C is paying rupees 225. Okay, the person is paying rupees 225. Then what is the cost price of cycle for A? So you have to find the cost price of cycle for A. Okay, so this is the question which is a combination of the formula of resultant profit and the CP formula that we just discussed. So let me explain you this in detail. So first of all, we talk about the resultant profit, because we have two profit for the same price of product. So we have the formula, then 20 plus 25 plus 20 into 25 by 100. I hope you remember the formula just discussed, x plus y plus xy by 100. So this amounts to 45 plus 5, check, because we have this 21, 25, then 5, 1, 5, 5, so 5. So their total resultant profit is 50%. Now, we shall find the cost price. So what is the cost price formula when CP is given and when profit is given? Formula for CP is 100 upon 100 plus profit percent, that is the gain percent we say, right, into, right, we have SP. So hence this comes out to be 100 upon 150, because this P percent is nothing but the resultant profit we shall take. So that we can calculate the cost price of cycle for the person A, right, and hence we are getting this answer now into this 225 rupees. So we have this 0 cancel, then 15, 1, 15, 15s are 15 into 10. So 150 rupees, and this is how the answer key for this particular question is option C only. Alright, I hope this solution is clear to you. Coming upon to the next formula on profit and loss. And this formula is very frequent in use because such questions have already been part of various defense exam and you can also expect it. If a dishonest trader professes to sell his atoms at CP but uses false measurement, then the gain percent for that person we calculate by true measurement minus false measurement upon false measurement into 100. Okay, the criteria you understand, what will be known to you in the criteria, that they will mention that so and so there is a true measurement but the person is using so and so amount false measurement. So what is the gain percent? So you can directly just plug in the true measurement Tm minus the false measurement Fm upon Fm into 100. So you can remember this way formula, Tm minus Fm upon Fm into 100. And this is a formula for finding the gain percent for a dishonest trader who is, misleading customers. It shouldn't be, but we are here to understand that how calculation happens this way. So when the dishonest trader professes to sell his atom at CP but using the false measurement to have the enough profit, so this is the formula then, percentage gain equal to Tm minus Fm upon Fm into 100. So let's check out an example then. A retailer professes to sell his goods at cost price. He wants to sell his goods at cost price but he is using false weight so that he can gain. Okay, he wants to gain over the weight. He is not gaining by selling it higher amount. If you do that, okay, measurements are right, but he is putting the higher price and he can do. But this is not the scenario. How is the profit gaining here? Actually, gaining is happening due to using the false measurement, so that by weight he can gain the excess amount by selling at the same cost price. Okay, so you shall understand the question criteria to apply the formula. When a retailer professes to sell his goods at cost price, if he using a false weight, he still gains and he is gaining 25%, it is given. So what is then weight that he is using in place of 1 kg? So understand, in place of 1 kg, it mentioning that 1 kg is actual measurement, true measurement, and they ask you false measurement. Okay, so if you observe the options are in grams. So we shall convert this true measurement Tm value, which is in kgs, into grams, which is nothing but 1000 grams, right? And hence let's recall the formula, because in a question we know that there is a gain percent for a dishonest dealer, right? 25%. So we know that formula percentage gain by using false measurement is the formula Tm minus Fm upon Fm into 100, right? Gain percent we have 25. So 25 by 100 I would write, because this 100 I have taken to left side. Tm is known to us 1000 minus Fm is unknown. So Fm is as it is upon Fm. So if you solve this by cross multiplying, you can get this Fm is equals to 800 grams. You can check it easily. You can simplify this 25 1, 25 4, 1 by 4. Cross multiply and solve it out for Fm equal to, you're gonna get this answer. And here's the key for this particular question is option D. Alright, coming upon to the next formula. If a shopkeeper sells his goods at X% profit and uses a measurement which is Y% less, understand this formula compared to previous. There is a shopkeeper, he is selling his goods at X% profit and he is using a measurement which is Y% less. So here in the problem there is an indication that the measurement that person is using is so and so percent less than the actual. Okay, so then you can use this formula. Alright, so this is the formula. It's applicable when you are not known to actual measurement, the true measurement. Like the previous formula, you shall use when you know the true measurement, the false measurement to calculate gain percent either, or true measurement, gain percent to calculate false measurement, like the example I discussed, right? So here this formula is applicable when you know that a shopkeeper is getting X% profit by selling his goods and is using certain Y% less weight, whatever. Okay, then you can directly use this formula to get the unknown required in the question. So it's total profit percent equal to percent profit mentioned plus percent less in weight upon 100 minus percent less in weight into 100. So let me reframe this question for you, this formula for you. Percent profit means this is known X plus percent less in weight is mentioned to be Y. So Y upon 100 minus Y into 100. So this is your formula. So you can remember this formula. But you shall know that this X is the percent profit mentioned, Y is the percent less used by a shopkeeper, right? And the formula structured as X plus Y upon 100 minus Y into 100. Okay, so let's check an example then. A trader sells wheat at 20% profit. So what is it? This is value of X, 20%, and uses weight 20% less than the actual measure. So this is directly the value of Y, 20%. And his gain percent is, they ask us, right? So profit percent is nothing but the gain percent, and we know its formula. It is X plus Y upon 100 minus Y into 100. So using the variable form of the formula is very easy. So you can remember this way. Okay, so what is X? It's 20, Y is also 20. 100 minus 20 gonna give you 80 into 100. So we have this 0 to cancel, and in the numerator we have 40 upon 8 into this 10. So 8 1, 8 5, 5 into 10, 50. Alright, so profit percent is 50%. So the right key is option A. Very clear. I hope these formulas are clear to you. Please stay tuned. I'll be meeting you with my next session on many easy formulas which will be really helping you to get your answers ASAP. But you have to, prepare your formula list wisely and timely recall to answer the questions very easily with this formula, because these are very important and frequently used formula on which base repeatedly there were the question in very defense examination. Alright. I hope this lecture is helpful to you to know the important formulas based upon the topic of profit, loss and discount. Do check out the other lectures as well to know the other important formulas which are there in this chapter, profit, loss and discount, for you to make a list and recall for the last minute revision to not miss any single question in numerical ability section, which will be purely based upon the formulas. If you are a serious aspirant and aspiring to write the upcoming AFCAT examination, do not forget to check out our AFCAT courses to go through and know the detailed content of AFCAT examination subject wise. You can also download our mobile app SSBCrack Exams from the Google Play Store to enroll for the courses and start your preparation from today. Hello everyone, welcome back to SSBCrack Exams. I'm Lakshmi, Maths Mentor, and I'm back with another lecture on most important formulas, wherein I'll be giving you most important formulas for the topic of profit, loss and discounts. Let me recall you once again, I'm discussing all those important formulas on which base previously there were the questions in AFCAT examination in the numerical ability section. So you can also expect in your upcoming AFCAT exam the questions on profit, loss and discount, which will be purely based upon the formulas that I am discussing in my lecture series. If you have missed my part 1 lecture on profit, loss and discount, please go back and do check out, and then also check all the subsequent lecture on this topic to know and make a list of all the important formulas based upon the topic profit, loss and discount to tackle all the questions which will be part of your upcoming AFCAT examination in numerical ability section of this topic. So with this, let us begin with our session. Let's begin with the formula. If a person sells two similar articles, one at gain of A% and another at a loss of A%, then seller always incurs a loss which is given by. Understand the criteria of formula that when a person selling two similar items, there are two similar items. One he is selling for a gain of A% and another he is selling for loss of A%. So it is always true that the person gonna get loss only, and loss we can directly calculate with this formula where only you shall use the value of that A, which is same for gain percent and loss percent. So suppose in case in your question, if they either give you the selling price or whatever the cost price, whatever may be for the two similar articles for which he is selling with a gain of A% and with a loss of A%, then you gonna have this formula which is always for a loss percent, because the person has to get loss only, cannot get gain. Okay, because he is selling two similar items. Okay, and the formula is A upon 10 the bracket square percentage. So let's check an example then. If a man sold two radios, say two radios, two similar items, for rupees 2000 each, not required because the formula doesn't use this value, because we know that in this scenario when person sells two similar articles with one loss percent and other profit percent, but the same amount of percent. Profit percent is same as loss percent, then person has to have the loss percent, which we calculate by the formula. So here they have given you that one he is selling with a gain of 16% and on another he is getting the loss of 16%. So the value of A is same. So whenever you see such readings, loss percent and gain percents are same, and it is mentioned that person is selling two similar items, then in his overall transaction, what he will get? He will get only the loss. And we know that that person, loss percent, we calculate by the formula A upon 10 to the power 2 percentage. Very important, on which base there were previously good number of questions in valid defense exam. So very simple formula base. If you want to approach it traditionally, it's gonna take you time, but yes, you will get the answer, that's for sure. But applying this formula gonna give you in seconds your answer. So this is very simple formula, you can easily remember, and hint of the formula is also simple, right? Because the loss percent, gain percent will be same. That would be indicated by amount A, right? So value of A is 16 here. So we have 16 upon 10 the bracket square, and we know that 16 upon 10 is 1.6. So what is 1.6? 1.6 is nothing but 2.56, because it's 16 square and two places of decimal will come. So 2.56 percentage will be the right choice, and hence the key option C for this particular question. Alright, coming upon to the next formula and understand the criteria here. If eighth part of some atoms is sold at X% loss. Eighth part of some atoms, understand. There are some atoms of which eighth part, fractional part, eighth part of those atoms is sold at X% loss. Then the required gain percent in selling rest of the atoms, understand this. We are talking about the selling of the rest of the atoms. So in that, whatever the required gain percent occurs, we will calculate. But provided that there is a neither gain nor loss in whole transaction. So criteria in the question should be such that there are certain atoms mentioned, and they mention that eighth part of those atoms are sold at X% loss. And now the person wants to get the gain for the rest of atom selling, so that neither gain nor loss in the whole transaction. Okay, so that formula is AX upon 1 minus A percentage. This is for finding of the gain percent in selling of rest of the atoms, so that person neither gains nor loss in overall transaction. Alright, so let's check out an example to correctly get a hint about this formula, which is AX upon 1 minus A percentage. What will be A? A will be certain eighth part of those atoms that person is selling with the X, that is X% loss. Alright, so knowing X, A and X is enough to get the required gain percent to have neither loss and neither profit, neither loss or nor profit in overall transaction. So here is an example check. A medical store owner purchased medicines worth rupees 6,000 from a company. A medical store owner has purchased medicines worth rupees 6,000 from a company, and now he is selling 1/3 part of the medicine at 30% loss. So here only you got to know what are the values of A and X. That person has sold 1/3 part of the medicine, that is the value of A, right? And this 30% loss, value of X. Now here mention that on which gain he should sell his rest of the medicines, on which gain percent, okay, on which gain percent he should sell his rest of the medicine, so that he has neither gain nor loss. He has neither gain nor loss. So hence we shall calculate that with the formula which we studied, AX upon 1 minus A percent, right? What is A? A is 1/3, X is 30 upon 1 minus A, A is 1/3. So very simple calculation based formula, right? Simply decreasing your much thinking process and solving process, isn't it? So it's 10/2/3, isn't it? So it's 5 into 3, check, so 15%, and hence the required key for this particular question becomes option C only. Coming upon to the next formula, very interesting, that a businessman sells his atoms at a profit or loss. It can be either profit or loss, and that is indicative with the variable A%. A businessman selling his atoms either with the loss or a profit of A%, and if he had sold it for rupees R more, he would have gain or loss B%. Then the cost price of atoms for that businessman will be R upon B plus or minus A into 100. So basically this is the formula for finding of cost price of atoms. These are the atoms that a person or a businessman had sold with either profit or loss percent A. But if he would have sold with R rupees more, he would have either gain or loss. So means this A and B value can be both gain, they can be both loss, they can be one gain and one loss, either way. Alright, so hence depending on that the formula will take the form. Okay, and here are the instruction you should remember. Minus you should use in the denominator. Means the formula will be of two forms. It will be R upon B plus A into 100 and other R upon B minus A into 100. So when to use which formula? Understand, when there is a, both are either profit or loss. Means if A and B both are, suppose profit or both are loss, then we shall use the formula, this one. Okay, for first criteria. And when both, one is like profit and other is like loss, either way, either A profit, B loss, or B profit, A loss, then we shall use this formula number 2. Alright. So remember, in the denominator plus will come when A and B are opposite in sign. Opposite in sign in the sense, A can be loss, B can be profit, B can be loss, A can be profit, like that. And when A and B are of similar sign, means both profit or both loss, then we shall use the formula of a difference, R upon B minus A into 100. So let's check an example then. A person sold a table at a profit of 1/2%. So this first value will be indicative of A. So A is mentioned to us 6.5%, which is nothing but, see, 2 6 are 12 plus 1, 13/2, which is 6.5%. Alright. And if we had sold it for rupees 1,250 more, so this is the amount R to be used in the formula, he would have gain, and this is the value, amount B. So find the CP. Now understand, as soon as you read such question, check, they given us both profit. For both profit, we have the formula when both are either profit or both are loss formula, right? So that is the difference based formula. So we have the actual formula for it. So CP is equals to R upon B minus A into 100. When either both are profit or both are loss. So for this question, both are profit. So I am taking B minus A then. Alright. So substituting the required values, we could calculate CP now. R is 1250. What is the value? B? B is 19 and A is 6.5. So 19 minus 6, you know that 13. 13 minus 0.5 going to give you 12.5. Simple calculation into 100. Alright, so you could see that by multiplying, numerator and denominator by 10, we can get rid of this point in the denominator. So here I could take 10. So 100 upon 125. So 125, 1. 125, 1, 0, 0. So 100 into 100, you could see that 10,000. Right, and hence the key for this particular question becomes option A. Alright, very easy formula, R upon either B minus A or B plus A, depending on whether both are, right, whether both are profit, both are loss, or either one is profit, one loss, or loss and profit, like that. Alright, so remember this formula, very easy formula to get the answer as soon as possible. And similar question were already part of defense exam. So again I am repeating, remembering this formula going to help you out in solving the questions easy manner. Coming to the next formula, if a cost price of A articles is equal to the selling price of B articles, cost price of A articles, that is the CP of A articles, is given to be SP of certain B articles. If this is a scenario in your question, and if you are asked to find the profit percent for the overall transaction. Then you can calculate with the help of this formula, that is A minus B upon B into 100%. And frequently used formula, because one of the easiest approach, simple formula, it's A minus B by, very simple formula, it's A minus B upon B into 100%. So what are A and B? A will be, the cost price. A is the CP of the articles, CP of A articles. B is the SP of B articles. And you shall take A minus B divided by B into 100% to get the profit percent in the transaction, right? Alright, so let's check an example how it can be framed based upon this particular formula. If the cost price of 20 articles, that is A, is equal to the selling price of 16 articles, that is B, then find the profit percent. So whenever you see such scenario, use the formula that you have, that profit percent is equals to A minus B upon B into 100, right? You already noticed what are A and B in the question. So we have 20 minus 16 upon 16 into 100. So in the numerator, 4 is the numerator, upon this there is a denominator 16 into 100. So 4 1, 4 4, 4 1, 4 2, 4 5. So 25% is the profit percent when there is a CP of 20 articles same as SP of 16 articles. So hence the right key for this particular question is option B. Alright, and here comes the next formula on profit and loss chapter. If a man purchases M atoms for rupees X and sells N atoms for rupees Y. This is the extended formula for the previous. M atoms he is purchasing, means CP of M atoms is given rupees X and SP of N atoms is given rupees Y. Then either profit or loss, whatever may be, we can calculate with this formula. So very important formula this is, and very simple to remember. My minus Nx upon Nx into 100. What are M, N and X and Y? M will be the number of articles, right, that person purchase, or number of atoms that person purchased for rupees X, okay, and N will be the number of articles that person sold for rupees Y. Alright, so Y is basically SP and X is basically CP. CP for M articles and Y is the SP of N articles. If that is the case, we can calculate either the profit that person had or the loss that person had with this formula My minus Nx upon Nx into 100%. Alright, so I hope you understood this. So check out one example then. If Meghna purchases 10 oranges for rupees 25, see this 10 indicates here M articles, M atoms. So 10 oranges he purchased for rupees 25, so that is the amount X, and sells 9 oranges, that is N, right, and sold it for rupees 25, so that is Y. So we shall calculate gain percentage as instructed in the question. So either they ask you gain percentage or loss percentage, use the same formula. What was that? It was My minus Nx upon Nx into 100. All the parameters are known to us. M is, right, it's 10. So 10 into Y we have 25 minus N is 9. 9 into X is 25. And upon we have Nx, that is a 9 into, we have X 25 multiplied by 100. Alright, so we can simplify this. So numerator, see, 250 minus 225, because 25 nines are 225. So 250 minus 225 gonna give you 25 in the numerator, and in the denominator anyhow you have 25 which is getting cancelled. So basically it's a calculation of 100 by 9. So you know that it will come out to be 11 1 by 9 only. Very easy. So option, hence the A for this particular question. Alright. So very simple formulas these are, and very useful in tackling the problems which might take you most of your time in attempting in usual approach. So just remember this formula with a certain format that I am indicating you in my explanation. Note it down well on a paper, right? Every day just look for a last 10 days revision or last 5 days revision also enough. Just remember the hint how when you shall apply. You can easily apply the formula and get your answer very easily and in less time. I hope you got to know good number of formulas by now for profit loss concepts. You have to stay tuned to SSBCrack exams. I'll meet you in my another session based upon the topic of profit loss and discounts, where I'll give you a list of more important formulas to make a list for last minute revision and apply them in timely manner to attempt all the questions on this topic, profit loss and discount, in your upcoming AFCAT examination. All the best for your upcoming AFCAT exam, and please stay tuned to SSBCrack exams for all the required updates. Hello AFCAT aspirants, welcome back to SSBCrack exams. I'm Lakshmi, Maths Mentor, and I'm back with another lecture on the topic profit, loss and discount, wherein I'll give you more important formulas for this topic to prepare very well for your numerical ability section in AFCAT examination. I hope you are preparing very well and making the list of all the important formulas we are discussing in this lecture series. So all the formulas are really helpful and they are very time efficient formulas to apply and get the answer in very less time. So let's begin with this particular session with the very first formula. If A sold an article to B at a profit or a loss of R1% and B sold this article to third person, that is person C, at a profit or loss of R2%, then the cost price of article for the person C is given by the cost price for the person A as A into 1 plus or minus R1 upon 100 into 1 plus or minus R2 upon 100. And here positive you have to take when there is a profit and negative you have to take when there is a loss. So this particularly a formula to calculate the cost price of an article for the person C. Right, the cost price of an article for the person C, but how were the transaction? The person A sold an article to B with the profit or loss. If suppose the person A sold it with the profit, then here in the formula bracket there will come positive. If it is loss, then there will come negative, like that. Similarly, when B sold this article to person C, then for the second bracket R2 will be positive when it is profit and it will be negative when it is loss. And so you will be asked in the question to find the cost price of an article for the third person, that is person C, with the help of the cost price of the article for the person A, which will be given. Here I am indicating that price by A. So it's A into the bracket 1 plus or minus R1 by 100 into 1 plus or minus R2 by 100. So let's check an example to better understand how to use this formula in problem solving. Neelam sold a machine to Mohan at a profit of 30%. So this is the value of R1. And here I indicated by positive to mention that it is a profit. And now Mohan, the second person, selling this machine to third person Karan at a loss of 20%. So R2 here in this process is negative because it's loss. Right? So R2 is negative. And if Neelam paid rupees 5,000, what is this? This is the cost price of that machine for the Neelam. So this is the value A. In the formula we need to substitute. And now hence we are asked to find the cost price of the machine for Karan, who is the third person in this process. Right? So that we calculate with the help of the formula. Let's write that CP of machine for Karan, okay, will be given by A multiplied by 1 plus R1 upon 100 because R1 is positive and 1 minus R2 upon 100 because R2 is negative because it's loss. And hence we get this answer as 5,000 multiplied by 1 plus R1. See, R1 is 30. So 30 by 100 gonna give you 3 by 10. So it becomes 13 by 10 into minus, see, the value of R2 is 20 there. So 20 by 100 means 1 by 5. 1 minus 1 by 5 gonna give you 4 by 5. So simplifying this, we could see that 5100, right? So 13 4s are 52, 52 into 100, 5200. So hence the right key for this particular question becomes option B, which is the cost price of a machine for the Karan, the third person. Alright, coming upon to the next formula on profit and loss. If the shopkeeper sells his goods at X% loss on cost price but uses Y gram instead of Z gram. if the shopkeeper is selling his goods with already loss, with a loss percent of X, okay, and he is using Y grams instead of Z grams, then might he get profit or loss? So accordingly we have this formula, okay, and we shall use positive and negative sign accordingly. So this is the formula as it is, can be used when there is a profit for that person, because initially when he sold his good it was a loss percent for him, but while when he was weighing, he was using Y grams instead of Z gram. So his profit we calculate by the formula profit percent, that is 100 minus X multiplied by Z by Y minus 100. Let's check an example now. If a merchant professes to sell goods at the loss of 5%, so this is the value of X, 5%. But he is using weight 900 grams in place of 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram is 1000 grams, so this is the value of Z. He is using 900 grams, so this is the value of Y. And hence we shall find out what is his profit percent with the help of the formula just discussed. So gain percent or the profit percent given by 100 minus X multiplied by Z upon Y minus 100. Simple. So let's substitute the required values. We have 100 minus X, value of X is 5. Z is 1000 divided by 900 minus 100. So we have the simplification. See, 100 minus 5, 95. This 20 cancels. So 950 minus 900 upon 9 we shall take by cross multiplying. So we're going to have the fraction 50 by 9, which on division result 9 5s are 45, right? So we have the remainder 5. So 5 by 9%. 5 by 9%. So hence the key for this particular question is option number C. Alright. Coming upon to the next formula. If a dealer sells his goods at A% profit, or it can be loss. If a dealer selling his goods either for a profit or a loss, A amount, okay, A%, on a cost price and using B% less weight, then his percentage profit, or if it is loss, then loss will be given by B plus or minus A upon 100 minus B into 100%. And here also in the formula you shall make the changes according to positive and negative signs, where you know that positive indicates for profit and negative indicates for loss. So here you could notice that here we have the A% might be expressed in profit, or it can be expressed in loss. Okay, if it is expressed in profit, we shall take the plus, or if it is loss, then it should be minus. So either to find profit percentage for that dealer or loss percentage, the same formula will work. And what is that formula? It's B plus or minus A upon 100 minus B into 100%. Getting the point? What are A and B? A is, the profit percent or loss percent by which the dealer is selling his goods on a cost price. And B is the amount, the B% is the amount that percent less weight he is using while selling, right? And now hence let's check out an example. If a dealer sells his goods at 20% loss, so A, here I would indicate by negative to mention you, okay, because there is a loss percent, and he is using 40% less weight, so directly this is the value of B, right? So what is the percentage profit or loss, whatever may be. So let us find out the required percentage, so that can be the profit or loss, we check. Okay, so required percentage we are getting by the formula B minus A upon 100 minus B into 100, because A was in negative. Alright, so this is in percentage. Let's calculate. So this will be 40, right, minus 20. See, do not substitute the value of A as negative. Already in the formula I have made the changes. So this was just to make you understand. So 40 minus 20 upon 100 minus 40 into 100 percentage. Let's calculate this. We're going to get this as 20 upon 60 into 100. So we have this 0 cancel there. 2, 3, 2, 1, 0, right? So we have 10 into 10, 100, 100 by 3. So 100 by 3 is going to give you 3, 3, 3, 3, 1 by 3. So it's option number B, isn't it? Right? Now, let's come to the next formula. If A part of an article is sold at X% profit or maybe loss. B part of an article sold at Y% profit or a loss. And C part at profit Z% or a loss percent. And finally, it assume there that there is a maybe profit or loss of rupees R. Then the cost price of entire article is given by. Very important rule on which base there were good number of questions previously in varied defense exam. Understand this formula when you shall apply. When you know that there is an article, okay, an article or group of atoms, maybe a bunch, a group, or an article simply. So if suppose eighth part is sold for either profit or loss, maybe Bth part is sold either profit or loss for Y%, and Cth part is sold either profit or loss Z%. So A, B, C, R, these are the parts of an article. So the whole article is actually sold in parts with so and so profit or loss percent X, Y, Z respectively. And you know by end that there is a overall either profit or loss of rupees R also in the question. You know that certain there is an amount which is might be a profit amount or loss amount. Okay, finally. Then the actual cost price of that entire article we can calculate with the help of this formula. So this formula is only useful to calculate the cost price of that entire article which was sold in parts, making profit or loss, or making finally profit or loss with certain amount R. Getting the point? So when you are known to these parameters, use this formula to know the cost price of entire article. Okay, and formula is R into 100 upon AX plus BY plus CZ. So you shall apply this formula directly for any sense, for X either profit loss, for Y also profit loss, for Z profit loss. So let's take an example now. If 2/3 part of an article, sorry, this has to be off. If 2/3 part of an article is sold at 30% profit, 1/4 part at 16% profit, and remaining part at 12% profit. And finally, there is a profit of rupees 75. Then find the cost price of entire article. So we know the cost price of entire article is given by the formula R into 100 upon AX plus BY plus CZ. Isn't it very simple formula to remember? What are A, B, C, X, Y, Z and R? Right? R is 75. Right? And we have A. A is the first part of an article sold at X%. So we have that is 2/3 into 30. Plus B we have that is 1/4 part, 16% profit. So 1/4 into 16 plus C. Remaining part they did not give. How do you find the remaining part C? It's very easy, right? The whole is divided into parts. So remaining part we can find by 1 because whole is always treated as 1. So remaining part you can find out. Let's find here. Remaining part, that is the value of C we can calculate there. So it will be 1 minus 2/3 minus 1/4, which will be 1/12. So hence let's substitute then C part we got to know 1/12, right? So 1/12th time of its percentage profit or loss, whatever mentioned, it's 12. So 12 is and you have cancelling, here 3 is cancelling, right? Here 4 is cancelling, this 16. So let's simplify then. So 7500 in the numerator, in the denominator we have this 20 plus 4 into 1, 4 plus 1. So this is 7500 upon 25. So 25, 1, 25, 3, 0, 0. So we could see that the final answer, that is the cost price of entire article is rupees 300. So hence the right key has to be option B. Alright. So I hope these rules are very clear to you. Very important formulas on profit and loss, and I have coupled all those formulae on which base there were the questions in your defense examinations. So preparing these formulas on your tips, it will be really helpful for you to tackle in very less time good number of questions on these particular topics which are purely the formula based topics for your defense exam. I hope solutions of all the examples discussed so far for different formulas based upon the profit, loss and discount topic are clear to you. You have to stay tuned to SSBCrack exams for more such formula based lectures for different topics which are part of numerical ability syllabus in AFCAT examination. And if you are AFCAT aspirants and aspiring to write the upcoming AFCAT exam, see that you are subscribing to our courses, the AFCAT courses, wherein we have covered the detailed subject-wise content with video lessons, quizzes, study materials, mock test series and many more. So you can download the mobile app SSBCrack exams from Google Play Store and check out and enroll for our AFCAT courses to start your preparation and crack your written examination in very first attempt. Hello AFCAT aspirants, welcome back to SSBCrack exams. I hope you have gone through my part 1, part 2, part 3 lectures based upon the topic of profit, loss and discount, wherein I had discussed the most important formulas. I hope that you are been going through the lectures and noting down all the important formulas for your last minute revision. You can also check out the detailed content that we are providing in our AFCAT courses by subscribing to our AFCAT courses. So let's begin with this lesson with the very first formula part of this session, specifically based upon the topic of discount. Alright, let's recall few basic formulae for the topic of discount, which is again a topic under the profit and loss that we are discussing the most important formulas. Alright, so discount, we know that it will be calculated on mark price and it is calculated as mark price minus selling price, right? And the discount percentage we calculate it by discount upon mark price into 100. And if you want to determine the selling price when you are known to mark price and the rate of discount, where R% is the rate of discount allowed, then you can use this formula, that is MP into 1 minus R upon 100. Very important formula to find the selling price of an article when you are known in the question the mark price and rate of discount. Alright, so you can use this formula to calculate, because the other two basic formula I hope you are already known very well to it. Anytime you can use them to get the required answer. So let's check an example based upon these three basic formulae. An atom is sold for rupees 680. So this is SP, right? 680 rupees by allowing a discount percent of 15%, that is the rate of discount R we denoted by 15% on its mark price. Then what is the mark price of an atom? See, we just now checked that when we want to find the selling price, we can use this formula MP into 1 minus R upon 100. But this formula is equivalently used to find the mark price as well. Here you are known to selling price. So just substitute the selling price. Selling price is 680 equals to unknown mark price and then calculate it. So 1 minus R is 15 by 100. So bracket simplification, it's 100 minus 15. How much? 85. So 85 by 100. And you could see that MP comes out by multiplying 680 by 100 and dividing it by 85. Right? Let's simplify this. So we have this 5157, isn't it? And 520. So we know 171, 1740. So we could see that 800 rupees is the mark price, and hence the right key for this particular question, option B. Very clear. So I have told you a formula which will help you to either determine SP or determine MP when you are known in the question one of either MP or SP with the rate of discount percent, that is R% discount rate. Okay. So please remember this short formula to get the answer as soon as possible. Coming upon to the next formula understanding, when a series of discounts one after the other are allowed on a mark price of an article, then these discounts we called it as successive discounts. I hope you are known to this. If not, you can check out all our detailed lectures we have covered pertaining to your defense exam for this particular topic, profit and loss. So here on behalf of formula series, I am discussing few points and most important formulas. When a series of discounts are allowed on a mark price, okay, and we call them as successive discount, and suppose R1%, R2%, R3% and so on be the series of discounts on an article with the mark price of P. Then the selling price of that article we calculate after all these discounts by this formula. And this formula is helpful to calculate the selling price of article which is being sold after allowing, n number might be the discount percents, R1, R2, R3, so on till Rn. Based upon number of discounts mentioned, these brackets will go on coming. So if there are 3 discounts allowed on an article price, MP, the mark price P, then we can have these 2 brackets or 3 for 3 discount percent and so on. Let's check an example to better understand this. A shopkeeper on eve of Diwali allowed a series of discounts on television sets. So we shall find the selling price of a television set if the mark price of the television set is ₹1000. So this is the value P in the formula, mark price, and successive discounts are 10 and 5%. So only 2 successive discounts are allowed. So we have the equivalent formula, SP is equals to P into 1 minus R1 upon 100 into 1 minus R2 upon 100, out of which we know R1 is 10 and R2 is 5. So hence we have this answer is equals to 1000 multiplied by 1 minus R1, 10 by 100, so 1 by 10 into 1 minus 5 by 100, so it's 1 by 20. So we can simplify this, 1000 multiplied by 9 by 10 multiplied by 19 by 20. So we can cancel these 2 zeros, moreover this 2 1, 2 5. So we have 5 9s are 45, to multiply it with 19 to get the answer 855 rupees, and hence the right key for this particular question becomes option B. Alright, now coming upon to the next formula understanding, very important formula I must say, and we can use it repeatedly because one of the easiest formula to remember and apply in problem solving on discounts. Understand, when you are about to calculate the single discount equivalent to 2 successive discounts of R1% and R2%, go with this formula. When you calculate single discount equivalent to 2 successive discounts, that is R1 plus R2 minus R1 R2 upon 100 the percentage, and when you are asked in the question to calculate single discount which is equivalent to 3 successive discounts, that is R1, R2 and R3% rate of discounts, then you have this second formula. Okay, and this formula is 1 minus, in the bracket 1 minus R1 by 100 into 1 minus R2 by 100 into 1 minus R3 by 100 into 100%. Very important, please remember, when there are 2 successive discounts to be equivalent to single discount, then first formula is in use. For 3 equals to 1 single discount, the second formula should be in use. Let's check an example then. What will be a single equivalent discount for successive discounts of 10% and 20% on mark price of an article? So here we have how many discounts? Single discount, 2 discounts to make it into single equivalent discount. So we have to use the first formula of R1 plus R2 minus R1 R2 upon 100, isn't it? So what is R1? R1 is 10%, R2 is, and R2 is 20%. So we have this is 10 plus 20 minus 200 upon 100, that is 2. So we could see that it's 30 minus 2, that is equals to 28. So 28% is the equivalent single discount for successive 2 discounts. Alright, so right key for this question then becomes option C. Right, coming upon to the next formula, if a shopkeeper wants a profit of R% after allowing a discount of R%, understand the question, capital R is the indicative of the profit that shopkeeper wants. By allowing the discount small r% for that article, then the mark price, the MP of that item we calculate by this formula, that is the cost price into 100 plus R upon 100 minus R. And if suppose they ask you the cost price giving the mark price, then formula you have to modify, it will be MP into 100 minus R upon 100 plus R. So you can remember only one formula. What is that? You can remember that MP is equals to CP into 100 plus R upon 100 minus R. And when you want to find the CP, you can rearrange this formula, that is MP multiplied by 100 minus R upon 100 plus R. So the hint is like mark price is always associated with discount. So the small r is the rate of discount, right? So that term will come in the numerator with the MP when you are finding for CP. When you are finding MP, there will be CP, right, with the formula. So CP Along with that, the profit will come 100 plus R term. So you can easily, trick wise, you can remember this formula. Very easy. And this formula allows you to calculate the either cost price of the atom or mark price of the atom, provided shopkeeper have so and so profit percent and he is allowing certain R, small r percent discount. Okay, let's check an example. The mark price of a bicycle is rupees 1100. So we are known to MP. So it's obvious that then question will be of CP to determine. A shopkeeper allows a discount 10%. So this is the value of small r, right? And get a profit of 10%. So value of capital R. And we shall find what? Cost price of bicycle. So we have the CP formula. So how is the formula? How did you remember? MP will accompany with the formula term. So it is like then 100 minus R upon 100 plus R. For profit, it will be always plus indicative. So you can easily remember this formula. So let's substitute then. Required to get the CP, MP we have 1100, 100 minus small r we have 10 and 100 plus capital R we have 10. So we are getting 1100 into 90 upon 110. Isn't it? So 110, 110, 1, 0. So very simple, 900 rupees is the cost price, right? And that gives us the right key for this particular question, option number B. All right. Coming upon to the next formula on profit and loss, very important. If a shopkeeper allows a discount of R1% on an article and mark price of that article is certain small r percent more than the cost price. Understand this line. When you are known that there is a certain discount percent allowed by shopkeeper already, R1%, but the mark price of the article is R% more than the cost price of that article, then either the profit or loss, whatever may be in this transaction, we calculate with this formula. That is small r into 100 minus R1 upon 100 minus R1. And we shall take the positive value when there is a profit mentioned. Okay, and we shall take the negative value when it shows the loss. Let's check an example then. A shopkeeper marked the price 10% more than its cost price. So this is the, the value of that R that was mentioned in the formula. That shopkeeper marking the price 10% more than its cost price. So this is the value of R actually. And he is allowing how much discount? The discount is denoted by R1. Okay, discount, the person that shopkeeper is allowing is denoted by R1, where that R% is a certain amount that is marking more than the cost price. Okay, so we have R1 and R in the required question to find out the loss percent. So what's the formula for that? We have R into 100 minus R1 upon 100 minus R1. So let's simplify this by substituting the required values. R we have 10, right? So 100 minus R1 we have 20 upon 100 minus this 20. So we have this 10 into this 80 minus 20, right? And there was upon 100, right? In the denominator there was 100. So we could see that this 0 cancel from the numerator to have 8 minus 20. And answer is minus 12. But as we understood in the formula, the negative sign indicative of what? Loss. And that was what the ask. That is how the formula is ultimately give you the answer. If it is loss percent, it will give you in negative. If it is profit percent, it will give in positive. So we can here verify also that we obtain the correct answer. So answer magnitude we have to take 12%. This negative sign is the indicative of loss percent as discussed in the formula. And hence the right key for this particular question becomes option C. Alright. So I hope that all the solutions are clear to you. See that you are properly revising all these formulas every day at least. And do not forget to revise all this formula during your last minute revision to have the better clarity and good memory in your exam time to attempt the question if it comes based upon the formula for all the important topics that we have discussed so far. All the best for your upcoming AFCAT exam, and if you are AFCAT aspirant, do not forget to check out our AFCAT courses wherein we have covered the detailed content of each and every subject part of the AFCAT exam syllabus in detailed manner with video lessons, quizzes, study material, mock test series and many more. You can download the mobile app SSBCrack Exams from Google Play Store and you can enroll for the courses so that you can start your preparation and easily crack your AFCAT written exam in very first attempt. Hello everyone, welcome back to SSBCrack Exams. I'm Lakshmi, Maths Mentor, and here I'm back with the most important formula based lecture wherein I'll discuss this time the important formulas from the topic of simple and compound interest. Simple and compound interest, it is another important topic for your AFCAT exam point of view, on which base you can easily expect maximum 2 questions in your numerical ability section of AFCAT exam. See that you are thoroughly known to each and every formula based upon the topic of simple and compound interest I am discussing in this lecture series. So let's begin with our session with the formula based upon the topic of simple interest, part of your defense examination syllabus, and it's one of the important though basic formula to get the simple interest. Let's understand, if the interest is calculated on the original principal for any length of time, then it is called simple interest. You must know simple interest in the name itself mentioned that it is calculated on original principal for any time period, for any length of time. For a given principal, say 2000 rupees, they can ask you to calculate interest for 10 years, 20 years and so on. Here the direct interest for that certain fixed time period you are calculating with the certain rate of interest known to you. So hence the simple interest formula is principal into R into T upon 100. You can read and remember this as PRT upon 100, where P stands for principal, the sum of money deposited initially, the borrowed money, and so the principal amount, right? The R, rate of interest per annum, and the T, time period, the length of time you are calculating the simple interest for. And hence you will calculate this simple interest by the formula PRT upon 100. So let's work out one example based upon this formula. Find the simple interest on rupees of 200 for length of time period, that is 5 years, at 6% per annum rate of interest. So as soon as you read the question based upon the simple and compound interest, your first and foremost task should be note down what are known to you. Here you are known to principal amount, that is 200 rupees. Then you are known to time period, that is 5 years, and you are known to rate of interest, that is R, 6%. And now you know that the simple interest SI formula is PRT upon 100. So you will calculate the simple interest for the 5 years length of time, that is 200 into 5 into 6 upon 100. No worries, 5 into 6, 6 into 5 are same. So here we have simply to go with 2 into 5 into 6, that is, you could see it's 60 rupees, and hence the key has to be option B. Let's check. Here is the option B, which is the right key for this particular question. An example based upon simple interest. Alright, and now let's understand about the another formula which is applicable for simple interest concept. And when to apply this formula, understand. If the sum of money becomes n times in t years, note, at simple rate of interest. So here, based upon the simple interest calculation, the certain initial sum of money, that is the certain principal, becoming n times, means it is becoming n times p, and for that they mention the period. In t years, the p amount is converting to np amount at simple interest, then you can calculate the rate of interest, that is capital R, with the help of this formula. See, you are not known about the principal, you are only known in the question that the fact that the initial sum of money, the principal becoming n times after certain time period of t, and you are directly asked to get the rate of interest for that simple interest. Okay, so this is a formula which allows you to calculate the rate of interest R when interest is calculated at simple interest rate for certain time period t for which the principal has become certain n times. So in the question, what parameters will be known to you? In the question, they will mention the sum of money becoming what times. So n will be provided to you in the question. T, the time period will be provided to you in the question to directly jump to calculate the rate of interest for the calculation of simple interest. Alright, so here this is the formula, that is, understand, it is 100 times n minus 1 upon capital T percentage R%. Alright, so let's understand then one example based upon this formula. A sum of money becomes 4 times, understand, see 4 times, what is this 4? It's a n times, so n value, and it is the sum of money becoming 4 times in time period of 20 years. Okay, here the time period is given to be 20 years. So this is the capital T value at SI, that is simple interest, and we shall find out rate of interest. We shall find out rate of interest, that is capital R, for which we are known to the formula R is equals to 100 into n minus 1 upon capital T percent, and now here we calculate required answer 100 into 4 minus 1 upon 20, that is equal to 5 into 3, that is equal to 15%, right? 21, 25, you know this, 25 is 100. So hence the required R we got it, and hence correct key has to be option C. Let's check, right? The key is option C. Coming upon to the next formula based upon the topic of simple interest, and let's understand when we shall apply this formula to get the answer as soon as possible for a question based upon this topic in your upcoming defense examination. If a sum of money at a certain rate of interest becomes certain n times for T1 period of time, that is T1 years, and m times, another m times in the time period of T2 years, then the formula for T2 will be given as T2 is equals to m minus 1 upon n minus 1 into T1. Understand this formula and the earlier formula. There you are supposed to calculate the rate for which only the sum of money was converting to n times for a given time period. Only once the time period was mentioned. But in a particular question where you are mentioned 2 different time periods for which the sum of money becoming n times and m times. Okay, when the money is becoming n times for T1 years and m times for T2 year, then formula for time period, the second time period for which the sum of money was became m times, is given by the formula m minus 1 upon n minus 1 into T1. Can you understand the formula, how it is defined? T2 is equals to m minus 1 upon n minus 1 times T1. If suppose I ask you to find T1, then how can you modify this formula? This can be written as n minus 1 upon m minus 1 multiplied by T2. So this formula allows you to calculate the time periods. Either you can calculate time period T2 provided T1 in the question, or T1 provided T2 in the question. So let's check an example then for this particular formula. A sum becomes 2 times in 5 years at certain rate of interest. Find the time in which the same amount will be 8 times at the same rate of interest. See, here they mention in the question rate of interest are same. So what are differ? They are the time periods. And one time period is known to you, other time period is asked to you. So yes, it's a formula for the question, that's a T2 is equals to. Because for the first time they have given us the time period. For 2 times, that is n is equals to 2, the time period T1 here is known to us 5 years. And the second time they asked, that is they asked you T2. Find the time in which the same amount is becoming 8 times, that is m times. It's becoming with the same rate of interest. So what's the formula? Let's recall the formula for T2 was, it was m minus 1 upon n minus 1 into T1. Can you remember? Similarly, see, when it is T2, here in the numerator m is coming. For T2 the money was becoming m times, you know that. And for T1 the numerator will be n minus 1. So simply you can remember this formula. It's very easy and convenient to apply to get the answer in less time for such problem. So this is equals to then 8 minus 1 upon, we have 2 minus 1, and this is multiplied by T1, that is 5. So we have this as 7 into 5. So this is equals to 35 years. Alright, so hence the right key has to be option B only then. Alright, coming upon to the next formula. And this formula, let me tell you, it's almost the same, but understand this formula is applicable to, relate the two rates of interest when the interest was calculating for, the certain length of time. That is the simple interest we are talking about. So when a sum of money in certain time becomes n times at R1 rate of interest and m times at R2 rate of interest, then the formula for R2 will be. So when they asked you R2, you can use this formula which is relevant to the formula for time period, because the formula for simple interest is PRT upon 100. So how you have the formula for time periods T1, T2, equivalently we can set up the formula for R1, R2. It's all same, but you have to know the criteria in the question. When they give you the sum of money becoming, n times and m times for different rates of interest, that is R1, R2, they give you one rate of interest and asked you about the other. So if they asked you about the other, that is R2, then this is the formula. But if they ask you about R1, how will be the formula then? Formula will be n minus 1 upon m minus 1 multiplied by R2. Isn't it so simple? So let's check an example. So by reading, you shall understand which formula goes, whether time period formula or rate of interest formula. When they give you a question for same time period, then they ask you about rates. And when they give you the same rate of interest, they ask you about the time. So use the equivalent formulas. Getting my point? So here is an example. Then let's understand, in certain time, a sum becomes 3 times. So this is n. At the rate of interest 5% per annum, means here they given us R1. At what rate of interest, that is they asked you about R2. At what rate of interest the same sum becomes 6 times. So here they gave us m value, that is 6, for the same duration. Said you right, when time is same, they ask about rates, giving one rate in the question, asking about the other rate. And hence we calculate that by the formula R2 is equals to m minus 1 upon n minus 1 into R1, which is equals to, by substituting the values, so we have 6 minus 1 upon 3 minus 1 multiplied by R1, which is 5. So we have, this is to be 5 into 5 by 2, which is 25 by 2, which we know it is 12.5%. It's a rate of interest. And hence the right key has to be option B. Check. Alright. I hope this lesson is really helpful to you to understand how to apply the formulas based upon the simple interest concept. Stay tuned to SSBCrack exams. I'll be back with more such lectures for the topic of simple and compound interest to understand better what are all different formulas are there for you to keep in mind and revise for the last moment, so that you not miss any single question on this particular topic in numerical ability section of AFCAT examination. And if you are an AFCAT aspirant, do not forget to check out our AFCAT courses. You can download the mobile app SSBCrack exams from the Google Play Store and enroll for the AFCAT courses to start your preparation from today. Hello AFCAT aspirants, welcome back to SSBCrack exams. I am Lakshmi, Maths Mentor, and I am back with this another session on most important formulas for the topic of simple and compound interest. We are discussing the most important formulas which are really helpful for you to tackle most of the questions in numerical ability section in AFCAT written examination. See that you are making a list on yourself as well after going through our lectures, so that for last minute you will be recalling and checking out all the important formulas to not miss any single question in numerical ability section, which is purely based upon the formula. The difference D between the simple and compound interest accrued on rupees P at the rate of interest R% is given by. Understand, this is the formula to find out the difference between simple and compound interest when you know in the problem the principal amount and the rate of interest R, which is same for calculation of simple interest and calculation of compound interest. So you can easily calculate the difference D, which is basically dependent on the time period. If you are about to calculate the difference for 2 years, then you have to use this formula PR square upon 100 square. Okay, this is the formula for 2 years to find out the difference between SI and CI. But when question is demanding you to calculate the difference between two, that is difference between SI and CI for 3 years of time period, then you have to use this particular formula. So either in defense exam you will find the question based upon difference for 2 years or difference for 3 years only. So you can remember this two formula to get the answer to your question in easy manner. Because if you try to approach with the usual, like after finding SI and CI, then find the difference, which is a bit time consuming process, the formula, the simplified form of this particular formula will help you to get the answer very easily, and that too in very less time. Alright, so we'll be working out an example based upon, but before that let me again mention to you that these two formulas are dependent on number of years. Okay, and these two formulas are equivalently used either to calculate D, P or R. What is D? Difference. Either they ask you in the question to calculate difference between SI and CI, or they can ask you calculating the sum of money, that is the principal amount. That time they will give you in the question only the difference between SI and CI. Alright, and similarly giving difference, giving principal, they will ask you to calculate the rate of interest. Because you could see in overall formula there are three parameters D, P, R, three variables. So two variable value they will give, another third variable they will ask you. Very clear to you. So let's then move on with an example based upon this particular formula. The difference between compound interest and simple interest for 2 years at the rate of 5% per annum is rupees 5. So they have already given you the difference D, which is rupees 5, which is the difference between SI and CI. But what is the time period you have to note about is here 2 years. So once you reach such question, you have to recall correctly that for 2 years, the difference between SI, CI formula, what is it? And accordingly apply and get the answer. So what's the question here? To find the sum of money, means to find out the principal amount. Alright, so we'll be using the required difference formula, which was for 2 years, which was PR square upon 100 square. And in this we are known to difference value, which is rupees 5. So 5 is equals to P, unknown. What is R? R is 5%. So 5 square, that is 25, upon 100 square, that is 100 into 100 we can write. So that we can easily see the simplification, 25 1, 25 4. So you could see that then P is equals to 5 into 4 into 100, that is 20 into 100, that is 2000 rupees. And hence the required key has to be option number C. Let's check, isn't it? Coming to the next formula on compound interest topic. If a certain sum at compound interest becomes even, if a certain sum means initial amount, initial deposited money or principal at compound interest becomes even in n years and it becomes A2 in n plus 1 years. Understand, here they have given you knowledge about the two amounts that are accumulating by calculating the compound interest for n years and n plus 1 years, two subsequent years. Okay, and now the question can be to find out the rate of such compound interest. Rate must be the same because here they are talking about a certain fixed sum, initial P sum, on which the compound interest being calculated, and we got to know that the compound interest being added giving the A1 amount for n years and giving the A2 amount for n plus 1 years. So we are interested in what was the rate of compound interest. Then this formula will help you easily to get that rate of interest that was applied on a initial sum of money, the certain sum of money P, to get the amounts A1 in n years and A2 in n plus 1 years. So very simple formula, you can easily remember, it is A2 minus A1 upon A1 multiplied by 100%. Alright, so this is a formula and you can easily check out by reading the question. They will give you two amounts which are accumulated by calculation of compound interest for certain sum of money. Okay, for two subsequent years only. Understand, A1, A2 are not any two amounts. They are amounts for two, two consecutive years only, n and n plus 1. Because n is, okay, n years and n plus 1 year. They are consecutive years, differ by 1 year. Okay, then only this formula is applicable. Alright, and if suppose they ask you to find out the sum, then you can go with this formula. Sum means if they ask you P, if they ask you rate of interest means R, you are using this first formula stated, and when they ask you sum, you can use this formula, that is A1 multiplied by A1 upon A2 to the power n. Understand, this n is the first n years that mentioned in the question. So let's check out an example for this particular question. A sum of money invested at compound interest amounts to rupees 800 in 2 years and rupees 840 in 3 years. Understand, what is A1 here now? The first amount is A1, which is accumulated for 2 years. So this is N. And you can see the next year they mentioned 3 years. So these are 2 consecutive years, right? 2 years and second year and third year, like that. So this is N plus 1, right? And what is this 840? It is A2. So we shall find out in this particular question rate of interest per annum. So we have to find out R. So we shall use the R formula. Okay, so what is that formula? It was A2 minus A1 in the bracket divided by A1 multiplied by 100%. Let's substitute the required values, then we will get A2 was 840, A1 was 800 divided by 800 multiplied by 100. So this is 8 cancelling by 100, and numerator, what are we getting the difference? We are getting the difference to be 40. So this is 40 upon 8. So 8185. So we could see that it is 5%. And hence the right key for this particular question is option B. Alright, now let's come to the next formula based upon the concepts of compound interest. If a certain sum at compound interest becomes x times in n1 years, in n1 year, the certain sum, that is the initial P, becomes x times. See, they said x time means it becomes xp. If the initial certain sum is P, it becomes xp in n1 year, and it becomes yp. Y times it becomes means yp it becomes in n2 years. Then that case we have this equality. Very important equation. This is x to the power 1 by n1 is equals to y to the power 1 by n2. Now this formula will be very much useful for you to calculate either n1, n2, x or y. In the problem, in the question, they will give you x and y. The times the initial amount, certain P amount is becoming. Either they will give you x, y and n1 to calculate n2, or they can give you x, y, n2 to calculate n1, or x, n1, n2 they will give you, ask you to calculate y. So this formula can be used to calculate answers for 4 types of problems, either to calculate x or y or n1 or n2. You got my point, right? So very simple formula. You have to, read the question and understand. If they have given a certain P becoming so and so times, okay, for so and so year n1 and n2, then they can ask you any one among these 4 parameters in this formula. Very simple formula. I hope you can easily remember this. This will be saving you a lot of your time rather than approaching conceptually for such problems based on this formula. So let's check out an example then. If a certain sum at compound interest becomes double means this is the initial x times the initial certain P is becoming, and it is in 5 years. So means this is first n1 year. Then in how many years means they ask you about n2. It will be 16 times, means y they given to be 16 at the same rate of interest. Got the point? They ask you for the same rate of interest in how many years the amount becomes, the initial certain sum becomes 16 times. Okay, so yes, we have that equation, very important equation based formula, that is x to the power 1 by n1 equals to y to the power 1 by n2, out of which now let us substitute what we all know. We know x, which is 2, we know n1, which is 5, right? We know y, which is 16, and we don't know about the n2, so we'll write as it is to calculate. Now, to appear for such questions, see, your motto should be like to make the base same so that you can compare their indices. Now, 16 you can express easily as base of 2, because 16 is a power, fourth power of 2, isn't it? So, I can write this as 2 to the power 4 by n2, isn't it? because 2 to the power 4 is 16 only. So this is implying you that 2 to the power 1 by 5 same as 2 to the power 4 by n2, as bases are same, so indices has to be same in this equation. So hence this implies that the equation 4 by n2 is equals to 1 by 5. So by cross multiplying you could see the answer. N2 has to be what? N2 has to be 20. 4 5s are. And hence the option key for this particular question is option A, 20 years. Alright, I hope this solution is clear to you. The formula was very simple. X to the power 1 by n1 equals to y to the power 1 by n2. As I told you, in your defense exam, they can make you any question. In the sense, they can give you x, y or n1 to calculate n2, like this example we discussed, or they will, give you x, y and n2 to calculate n1. Okay, or they can ask you for x, they can ask you for y. So very important and very, concise formulas I am discussing, so that they are easy for you to remember and apply them so that you can solve the problems in less time. Because managing time is very important for you, so that you can attempt maximum questions and you can easily boost your score. So definitely prepare for all this formula for last minute revision, and do tackle the problems with most of the formula wherever required. I hope that by now you are knowing and understanding what are the important formulas are there in the simple and compound interest chapter for you to recall very well, not to miss any single question in the numerical ability section based upon the topic of simple and compound interest. All the best for your upcoming AFCAT examination, and do check out our AFCAT course if you are a serious aspirant and aspiring to write the upcoming AFCAT examination to have the detailed understanding about each and every subject part of the AFCAT written examination syllabus. Check out the AFCAT courses. You can check out our mobile app. You can download our mobile app SSBCrack exams from Google Play Store to enroll for all the courses subject wise and start your preparation to crack your AFCAT written examination with flying colors. Hello AFCAT aspirants, welcome back to SSBCrack exams. I am Lakshmi, your maths mentor, and I am back with another session on the topic simple and compound interest, wherein I'll discuss few more important formulas from this topic to help you in your preparation for AFCAT examination. In numerical ability section, you will find most of the question based upon the formulas. We are covering all those important formulae which will be really helpful for you to manage your time and attempt the maximum questions in your AFCAT examination. So let's begin with the very first formula part of this session based upon simple and compound interest. The difference D between the simple and compound interest accrued on rupees P at the rate of interest R% is given by. Understand, this is the formula to find out the difference between simple and compound interest when you know in the problem the principal amount and the rate of interest R, which is same for calculation of simple interest and calculation of compound interest. So you can easily calculate the difference D, which is basically dependent on the time period. If you are about to calculate the difference for 2 years, then you have to use this formula PR square upon 100 square. Okay, this is the formula for 2 years to find out the difference between SI and CI. But when question is demanding you to calculate the difference between two, that is difference between SI and CI for 3 years of time period, then you have to use this particular formula. So either in defense exam you will find the question based upon difference for 2 years or difference for 3 years only. So you can remember this two formula to get the answer to your question in easy manner. Because if you try to approach with the usual, like after finding SI and CI, then find the difference, which is a bit time consuming process, the formula, the simplified form of this particular formula will help you to get the answer very easily, and that too in very less time. Alright, so we'll be working out an example based upon, but before that let me again mention to you that these two formulas are dependent on number of years. Okay, and these two formulas are equivalently used either to calculate D, P or R. What is D? Difference. Either they ask you in the question to calculate difference between SI and CI, or they can ask you calculating the sum of money, that is the principal amount. That time they will give you in the question only the difference between SI and CI. Alright, and similarly giving difference, giving principal, they will ask you to calculate the rate of interest. Because you could see in overall formula there are 3 parameters D, P, R, 3 variables. So 2 variable value they will give, another third variable they will ask you. Very clear to you. So let's then move on with an example based upon this particular formula. The difference between compound interest and simple interest for 2 years at the rate of 5% per annum is rupees 5. So they have already given you the difference D, which is rupees 5, which is the difference between SI and CI, but what is the time period you have to note about is here 2 years. So once you reach such question, you have to recall correctly that for 2 years, the difference between SI, CI formula, what is it? And accordingly apply and get the answer. So what's the question here? To find the sum of money, means to find out the principal amount. Alright, so we'll be using the required difference formula, which was for 2 years, which was PR square upon 100 square, and in this we are known to difference value, which is rupees 5. So 5 is equals to P unknown. What is R? R is 5%. So 5 square, that is 25, upon 100 square, that is 100 into 100 we can write, so that we can easily see the simplification. 25 1, 25 4. So you could see that then P is equals to 5 into 4 into 100, that is 20 into 100, that is 2000 rupees. And hence the required key has to be option number C. Let's check, isn't it? Coming to the next formula on compound interest topic. If a certain sum at compound interest becomes A1, if a certain sum means initial amount, initial deposited money or principal at compound interest becomes A1 in n years and it becomes A2 in n plus 1 years. Understand, here they have given you knowledge about the two amounts that are accumulating by calculating the compound interest for n years and n plus 1 years, 2 subsequent years. Okay, and now the question can be to find out the rate of such compound interest. Rate must be the same because here they are talking about a certain fixed sum, initial P sum, on which the compound interest being calculated, and we got to know that the compound interest being added giving the A1 amount for n years and giving the A2 amount for n plus 1 years. So we are interested in what was the rate of compound interest. Then this formula will help you easily to get that rate of interest that was applied on a initial sum of money, the certain sum of money P, to get the amounts A1 in n years and A2 in n plus 1 years. So very simple formula, you can easily remember, it is A2 minus A1 upon A1 multiplied by 100%. Alright, so this is a formula and you can easily check out by reading the question. They will give you two amounts which are accumulated by calculation of compound interest for certain sum of money. Okay, for 2 subsequent years only. Understand, A1, A2 are not any two amounts. They are amounts for 2 consecutive years only, n and n plus 1. Because n is, okay, n years and n plus 1 year. They are consecutive years, differ by 1 year. Okay, then only this formula is applicable. Alright, and if suppose they ask you to find out the sum, then you can go with this formula. Sum means if they ask you P, if they ask you rate of interest means R, you are using this first formula stated, and when they ask you sum, you can use this formula, that is A1 multiplied by A1 upon A2 to the power n. Understand, this n is the first n years that mentioned in the question. So let's check out an example for this particular question. A sum of money invested at compound interest amounts to rupees 800 in 2 years and rupees 840 in 3 years. Understand, what is A1 here now? The first amount is A1 which is accumulated for 2 years. So this is n. And you can see the next year they mentioned 3 years. So these are 2 consecutive years, right? 2 years and second year and third year, like that. So this is n plus 1. Right, and what is this 840? It is A2. So we shall find out in this particular question rate of interest per annum. So we have to find out R. So we shall use the R formula. Okay, so what is that formula? It was A2 minus A1 in the bracket divided by A1 multiplied by 100%. Let's substitute the required values, then we will get A2 was 840, A1 was 800 divided by 800 multiplied by 100. So this is 8 cancelling by 100, and numerator, what are we getting the difference? We are getting the difference to be 40. So this is 40 upon 8. So 8185. So we could see that it is 5%. And hence the right key for this particular question is option B. Alright, now let's come to the next formula based upon the concepts of compound interest. If a certain sum at compound interest becomes x times in n1 years, in n1 year the certain sum, that is the initial p, becomes x times. See, they said x times means it becomes xp. If the initial certain sum is p, it becomes xp in n1 year, and it becomes yp, y times it becomes means yp it becomes in n2 years. Then that case we have this equality. Very important equation. This is x to the power 1 by n1 is equals to y to the power 1 by n2. Now this formula will be very much useful for you to calculate either n1, n2, x or y. In the problem, in the question, they will give you x and y. The times the initial amount, certain p amount is becoming. Either they will give you x, y and n1 to calculate n2, or they can give you x, y, n2 to calculate n1, or x, n1, n2 they will give you, ask you to calculate y. So this formula can be used to calculate answers for 4 types of problems, either to calculate x or y or n1 or n2. You got my point, right? So very simple formula. You have to, read the question and understand. If they have given a certain p becoming so and so times, okay, for so and so year n1 and n2, then they can ask you any one among these 4 parameters in this formula. Very simple formula. I hope you can easily remember this. This will be saving you a lot of your time rather than approaching conceptually for such problems based on this formula. So let's check out an example then. If a certain sum at compound interest becomes double means this is the initial x times the initial certain p is becoming, and it is in 5 years. So means this is first n1 year. Then in how many years means they ask you about n2. It will be 16 times, means y they given to be 16 at the same rate of interest. Got the point? They ask you for the same rate of interest in how many years the amount becomes, the initial certain sum becomes 16 times. Okay, so yes, we have that equation, very important equation based formula, that is x to the power 1 by n1 equals to y to the power 1 by n2, out of which now let us substitute what we all know. We know x, which is 2, we know n1, which is 5, right? We know y, which is 16, and we don't know about the n2, so we'll write as it is to calculate. Now, to appear for such questions, see, your motto should be like to make the base same so that you can compare their indices. Now, 16 you can express easily as base of 2, because 16 is a power, fourth power of 2, isn't it? So, I can write this as 2 to the power 4 by n2, isn't it? Because 2 to the power 4 is 16 only. So, this is implying you that 2 to the power 1 by 5 same as 2 to the power 4 by n2. As bases are same, so indices has to be same in this equation. So, hence this implies that the equation 4 by n2 is equals to 1 by 5. So, by cross multiplying you could see the answer. N2 has to be what? N2 has to be 20. 4 5s are. And hence the option key for this particular question is option A, 20 years. Alright, I hope this solution is clear to you. The formula was very simple, x to the power 1 by n1 equals to y to the power 1 by n2. As I told you, in your defense exam, they can make you any question. In the sense, they can give you x, y or n1 to calculate n2, like this example we discussed, or they will, give you x, y and n2 to calculate n1. Okay, or they can ask you for x, they can ask you for y. So, very important and very, concise formulas I am discussing so that they are easy for you to remember and apply them so that you can solve the problems in less time. because managing time is very important for you so that you can attempt maximum questions and you can easily boost your score. So definitely prepare for all this formula for last minute revision and do tackle the problems with most of the formula wherever required. I hope that by now you are known to all the important formula to make a list for the topic of simple and compound interest. So do make a list and remember them very well to apply timely manner to solve the problems in very less time in your upcoming AFCAT examination. Alright. If you are interested to know the detailed content for your AFCAT exam preparation, you can check out our AFCAT exam courses by visiting our page learn.ssbcrackexams.com. You can also check out and download our mobile app SSB Crack Exams from Google Play Store to enroll for the courses, and you can start your preparation from today to crack your written examination in very first attempt. Hello everyone, welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Lakshmi, Maths Mentor, here to discuss the most important formulas for the numerical ability section part of your AFCAT examination. I am discussing the most important formulas chapter wise, and we are discussing this time the speed, distance and time topic based most important formulas which are frequent in use, on which base there are good number of questions previously in AFCAT examinations. So you can also expect in your upcoming AFCAT exam similar question based upon the topic of speed, distance and time. So let's then start with our session with the very first formula on speed, distance and time, on which base there were frequently questions in varied defense examinations. You can also expect an average speed question in your upcoming defense exam. So if you are known to very well the formula of average speed, what are the formulas based upon the different criteria, it will be very much helpful for you to get the answer as soon as possible. Because competitive exam is all about time managing, you cannot only always go with the conceptual approach. Though you require to have in your mind until unless the problem is structured in different way. But if the problem is totally structured in a formula way, the most convenient way to approach is only with the help of formula, because it's one of the time efficient based approach to go ahead with. So here I am giving you all the important such formulas for the speed, distance and time that will be really helpful for you to attempt maximum number of questions based upon the topic of speed, distance and time in your defense examination. So let's begin with the very first formula. That's a formula number 1 for this topic, speed, distance and time. The formula is, if A travels with speed x km per hour but for the time period of t hours. Understand, there is a person who is traveling with a certain speed, that is x km per hour speed, but only for the time period of t hours. And later he is traveling with the another speed, that is of magnitude y km per hour, and that for another capital T hours. And then that case, if you are interested to know what was the average speed of that man throughout his journey, then yes, you can get it with the help of this formula. And this formula, understand here, it is x into t plus y into capital T upon t plus capital T. What is x and y? They are respectively speeds, right, that the man is taking throughout his journey, and the speed x is taken for the time period of small t hours and the speed y is taken for the time period of capital T hours. And if this is the scenario, yes, this is the average speed formula. So let's check out an example based upon this formula then. Here's the example. A person walks at the rate of 10 km per hour for 2 hours and walks at 4 km per hour for another 10 hours. So let us find an average speed of this person in kilometer per hour. So note it down here. What are the required variables which are required in your formula? This 10 km per hour is the first speed, that is represented by x, right? And the time taken for that, the time taken with this speed is the small t hours, and the later speed is the 4 km per hour, which is the speed represented by y, and the 10 hours is the time period capital T. And hence for this particular question, the average speed AS is given by xt plus y into capital T upon t plus capital T, which we calculate it as 10 into 2 plus 4 into 10 upon 2 plus 10. So you could see the numerator is 20 plus 40, that is 60, and denominator is 12, which results the final answer 5 km per hour. And hence the right choice becomes the option A. As you notice, the correct answer is option number A, 5 km per hour. Coming upon to the next formula for the same topic, that's speed, distance and time. If a man or a vehicle covers two equal distances, understand, either a man or a vehicle, when it covers two equal distances with two different speeds, one is x kilometer per hour speed and another is y kilometer per hour speed, then the average speed of that man or the vehicle for the complete journey will be given by 2xy upon x plus y. Understand, this is also a formula of average speed. But when you shall apply this formula of average speed to get it? When you know to the condition that the person or the vehicle, they are covering equal distances for two different time periods. They are covering equal distances for two different time periods, then the given speeds are enough to take up to get the average speed of the person throughout its journey. And you understood the formula. Formula is simply 2xy upon x plus y, where x and y are simply the known speeds in the question. So just I'll give you a hint. Whenever you see in the question there is a person or a vehicle with the two speeds mentioned and asked about the average speed, just go with this formula of average speed. Average speed known to two given speeds of a vehicle given by 2xy upon x plus y. Alright, coming to then example based upon this particular formula. There is a man covering half of his journey at 6 km per hour and remaining half of journey at 4 km per hour. Then what is his average speed? Understood? So as soon as you read such question in your defense exam, you are known two speeds and they are mentioned that the man is covering half of distance with those speeds, then yes, you are absolutely correct to go ahead with the average speed formula, which is given by 2xy upon x plus y. The average speed formula which is given by 2xy upon x plus y, and this is equals to hence 2 into 6 into 4 upon 6 plus 4. Note it here, the first speed mentioned we take it as x kilometer per hour, the later speed mentioned we take it as y kilometer per hour as per their unit. So hence the final answer, that is the result, the average speed has to be also in kilometer per hour only, and that we are getting it to be 2, 6, 12, 12 4s are 48 upon 10, which is resulting you the answer 4.8 kilometer per hour. I hope you got it, and hence the correct key has to be option B for this particular question. Alright, and hence you can check out the answer option B. Alright, coming to the next formula based upon the speed, distance and time. And this is one of the important formula and totally based upon the criteria that given in the question. So you have to be attentive while reading the question to recall which is the best formula going with the given criteria. If you could do that, you would easily getting the answer with the less time. Alright, so let's understand there is a man who changes his speed to x upon y of his usual speed. Understand, there was a man who was already walking or maybe running or whatever, he is in motion with the usual speed. There was certain original speed, but suddenly he has changed his speed by x upon y of his usual speed, and he is getting late by that, and that time is mentioned in the question upon, that is t minutes. So there is a man who has changed his speed by x upon y part of his usual speed and getting late by certain t minutes. Then the usual time we can find out with this scenario formula, that is tx upon y minus x. What is this formula for? This is to calculate usual time. See, there was already usual speed, the original speed with which the man is either walking or running or in motion, isn't it? So we are here bothered about the question, that is to get the usual time of motion with the help of the change of the speed and the time he is getting late with that change of speed. Getting the point? How is the formula? It's tx upon y minus x. Remember here x and y are what? They are actually part of a fraction by which he is changing of his usual speed. Okay, he is changing x by y part of the usual speed and getting delayed by the time t. Time t is the delayed time he is getting by. Okay, so if these are the criteria given to you in the question and asked about the usual time taken by the person with the usual speed, then you can go ahead with this formula to apply and get your answer. And hence, let's understand then an example based upon the same. If a man travels with a speed of 5/7 times of his original speed. Understand the question. 5/7 directly you have to relate it to the form x upon y. And he reaches office 20 minutes late to the fixed time, usual time. He has got late 20 minutes than the usual time. So what is then time taken with his original speed? Ultimately, here it is asking you to determine the usual time taken with the original speed. And we know that can be found it as with the formula that is Tx upon y minus x, wherein we note from the formula what are the values of x and y. You relate this x by y as 5/7. Okay, and we have the time t mentioned here, getting late by 20 minutes. See, no unit is mentioned in this particular example, which is based upon the formula just now discussed by me. Alright, so no unit mentioned. The time unit will be most probably in minutes. If it is in minutes, you take it in the minute, the final usual time answer. If it is in hour, it has to be in hour. Simple. So let's substitute the values for t, x and y here. So we have t 20 minutes, we have value of x which is 5k, we have value of y which is 7k and value of x again which is 5k, which resulting the equation value as 100k upon 2k, isn't it? So k is getting cancelled and 100 upon 2, the ratio value is 50, and hence the answer, the time unit as usual what mentioned in the question, minutes. So 50 minutes, the right choice is option C, and hence you can cross verify here. The right choice, yes, option C, answer is C. Alright, coming upon to the next formula based upon the topic of speed, distance and time. When a man travels from A to B with a speed x km/h and reaches t hours later after the fixed time. Understand, there is a man who is traveling from a certain point A to another point B. So it's like starting point of the journey and ending point of the journey. That two places may or may not be mentioned in the question. So here this is a generic form. This is a generic formula where you can apply to similar problems where places are also mentioned to you, isn't it? But understand the criteria of this formula to apply this to get the answer ASAP. So here we have a man who is, starting from the point A with the speed of x km/h, but with this speed, he is reaching his destination t hours later after the fixed time. See, there must be a fixed time for a journey, but with this speed x km/h, he has got late and he has got t hours late. Alright, and now when he traveling with the another speed, that is y km/h speed, from the same point A to B, suppose instead of x km/h, if suppose the man travel with the speed of y km/h from A to B, then he reaches his destination capital T hours before the fixed time. Capital T hours before the fixed time. You understood the scenario in the formula, that how it has to be? There is a person who is traveling from point A to point B, right? When he is traveling with the speed x, he is getting delayed by time period t hours. But when he is traveling with the speed y, he is reaching early before the fixed time, and those hours are mentioned, capital T hours. And if that is the scenario, then we can know what is the distance between the 2 points, or we can also say what is the distance, the travel by the person starting from A to B. In other words, the total journey, right? The length of the journey. So these are all the parameters could be part of your question. You have to recognize correctly that this formula fits over there. And what's the formula? It's xy into t plus capital T upon y minus x. It is xy into t plus capital T upon y minus x. Alright, so let's apply this formula to get the answer to our question based upon the similar criteria. There's a person walking at 4 km per hour, reaching his school 10 minutes late, and the person name is mentioned here, Raju. Walking at 4 km per hour, Raju reaches his school 10 minutes late. If he walks at 5 km per hour, he will be 5 minutes early, means reaching before the fixed time. So the distance of Raju's school from house. So means you understand here what are those 2 points A and B mentioned in the formula. A is the Raju's house and B is the school. So they asked you about the distance, the length of the journey that Raju traveled with the 2 different speeds. The first speed you mention it as x, right? The later speed you mention it as y, and the first time you mention it with the first speed as the small t, the later time with which he got reach early, that is the capital T. So with these all parameters, then let's calculate the required, that is the distance AB. Understand? See, I have taken this distance to be AB, so I am calculating it. And what was that formula? It's xy into small t plus capital T upon y minus x. Hold down. Understand here that when we read the formula, the time were in the hour unit. Here the time is mentioned in minutes. So you have to convert these times into equivalent hour unit. Alright. So first of all here let's do that calculation. So small t 10 minutes means how many hours? It will be 1 by 6 hour, because you understand that 10 minutes means 10 upon 60. Right? Because 60 minutes makes 1 hour. I hope you know that. Then capital T is equals to 5 minutes means 5 upon 60, right? So it will be 1 upon 1 and 2, that is 1 by 12 hour, right? So now we are ready to go with this times. So AB is equals to x into y, that is the 4 into 5, we have 20. Then we have 1 by 6 plus 1 by 12 to add, and this has to be divided by 5 minus 4, right? That is 1. So answer has to be this 20 into. See, denominator is anyhow 1. I am not writing that. Numerator, you understand the LCM of 6 and 12 is 12. So it's 2 plus 1. That's 3 by 12. Right? So it's 3, 1, 3, 4, 4, 1, 4, 5. So yes, you could see the right answer has to be the option number B. And hence the right answer is option B only. Alright. So coming to discuss about the next formula based upon speed, distance and time. There is a person who is traveling from A to B with a speed of x km per hour and reaching t hours late. There is a person who is traveling from starting point till the ending point, that start point of journey to the end point of the journey, or from his house to the destination, you can say. Okay, so there's a person who travels from A to B with the speed x km per hour, but he is getting late by that, t hours late he is getting. Later he has increases his speed. Understand, this is not the next speed. This is the speed, the amount he has increased. So when you know in the question that there is a person traveling with certain speed, got late by certain time period, but later he has increased the speed by certain amount for the same distance to cover, but still he is getting late by capital T hours. So if that is the scenario in your question, in your defense exam, go ahead with this formula to calculate the distance between A and B. I hope you could yourself easily recognize the difference between this formula and the earlier formula. That when you know a person traveling from A to B, traveling with the speed of x km per hour, getting delayed by t hours. But when he increased the speed by y, then he is still getting delayed by capital T hours. But there, previously, we had a formula where there was a time that he is reaching early. Here, still getting late. So this is a formula, it is applicable when there is a person traveling from one point to other point with a certain speed getting late, but by increasing speed also by certain y amount, he is still getting late. Then that case we are, yes, able in position to calculate the distance between A and B with this formula. And in this you have to plug in this time period T, capital T, X and Y. I hope you understood what are this. So let's check out one example based upon this formula. The person Mahesh is walking at speed of 20 km per hour. So what is it? It's X reading, right? And he is getting late 30 minutes to his school. This is the small t time. Next time he increases speed by y kilometer per hour. This is the 5 km per hour mentioned, which is the reading for y variable. And he is still getting late, right? So this time is capital T. And if this is the scenario, what is the distance between the school and the home? What's the distance of the school from his home? Let's calculate. It's nothing but the distance AB only we are talking about for a person who is traveling from a point A to the point B, right? And we get it by the formula. The required distance, that is AB, is given by the formula T minus capital T multiplied by X plus Y into X upon Y. But here also be careful, the time is given here to be in minutes. To use them in the formula directly, we have to convert it into equivalent unit of hour, because speed is expressed in kilometer per hour, isn't it? So you have to yourself do that conversion, that small t is 30 minutes, which it will become half an hour, whereas the capital T is 10 minutes, which gives 1/6 part of the hour, isn't it? And hence we get the answer now. So AB is equals to small t, that is half, minus capital T, that is 1/6. This is multiplied by X plus Y. X is the 20 km per hour, Y was 5 km per hour, and into we have 20 upon 5, right? So simplifying, you could see that this gonna give you 1/3 into 25 into 4, which is nothing but 100 upon 3, which approximate to the answer, to the mixed fraction 33 1/3. Alright, but that is not the answer provided to us, and hence the answer has to be then none of this. And as you notice here, the correct choice for this particular question becomes the option D. Alright, I hope solutions of all these questions are clear to you, which were based upon the certain discussed formulae, and you understood very well the application of formula to apply to similar problems if they are part of your upcoming defense examination. I hope that formulas discussed so far are clear to you with their detailed demonstrations. You have to stay tuned to SSBCrack exams for more such formula based lectures to have the better clarity that when and how to apply the formula to get the answers in less time in your upcoming AFCAT examination. And if you are an AFCAT aspirant and aspiring to write the upcoming AFCAT examination, do not forget to check out our AFCAT courses. In our AFCAT courses, we have covered each and every topic with their detailed content, with video lessons, quizzes, study materials, mock test series and many more. So you can download the mobile app SSBCrack exams from the Google Play Store. You can enroll for the courses and you can start your preparation from today to crack your AFCAT examination in very first attempt. Hello everyone, welcome back to SSBCrack exams. I am Lakshmi, Maths mentor, and I am back with another lecture on the topic of speed, distance and time, wherein I am discussing the most important formulas for your AFCAT exam point of view. Speed, distance and time, one of the important topic on which base surely 2 to 3 questions will be part of the numerical ability section in the AFCAT exam. See that you are thoroughly preparing with all the important formulas to solve and attempt the questions in very less time on this particular topic. So let's begin with the session then with the formula which will be helpful for you to solve problems based upon trends. Let's understand that what should be the criteria in the question to go ahead with this particular formula to apply and get the answer as soon as possible. The time taken by a train of length small l meter moving at a speed of small s meter per second to cross another train which is of the length capital L, and the another train is moving with the speed capital S meter per second. Either both the train are running or moving in the same direction, or they are running in opposite direction, then accordingly we have the formula small l plus capital L upon S minus or plus capital S. Understand the question. Here they have asked you the time that two trains cross each other. By the time two trains cross each other, the two trains speeds are mentioned, the two trains lengths are mentioned. So when you know a question which is a part of your defense exam based upon the topic of speed, distance and time, where the length of trains are given, speeds of two trains are given, and mention that they are either running in same direction or opposite direction, to determine the time taken to cross each other. Then you can go ahead with this particular formula, which can be rewritten in two form based upon the direction of motion, that is same direction motion, or the another, that is the opposite direction the two trains are running. When it's a same direction for both the trains, then yes, for both the trains, when there is a same direction, then speeds gets always gets differ by amount, that is the relative speed. We write it as small s minus capital S when they are running in the same direction, and when they are running in the opposite direction, then their subsequent speeds will get added. And hence, for particular this scenario, when two trains run opposite to each other, to cross each other, the required time formula will be changed in the denominator by S plus capital S. Got it? So you have to remember this formula to determine the time taken by two trains to cross each other when they travel either towards each other, that is opposite to each other, or they travel from the same point in the same direction, either, or they travel in the same direction. So let's understand then one example based upon this particular formula. As said, there will be given two trains. One is here of length 121 meter, and the speed of that first train is 40 km per hour. There is another train which is 99 meter long, and it is running with the speed of 32 km per hour, and they are running in opposite direction. Very important, you have to understand in the question the direction also, so that correct formula you will apply. So opposite direction mentioned, and now here they have asked in how much time will they be completely clear from each other. It is nothing but the condition. They ask the time they cross each other from the moment they meet. So they have asked you the time of crossover by two trains where they are running opposite directions. Alright, so here we first of all note the parameters. The 121 is the length of first train, so small l. Then 99 length of second train, capital L. The first speed we denoted by small s for the first length train, and for second 99 meter long train the speed is 32, so it's capital S. Okay, as the formula notations I am taking, and now we supposed to determine the required time. Before we apply the formula for this particular question, check out here that the length of the train were mentioned in the meters and the speed of the trains are mentioned in kilometer per hour. So you have to be careful with the units also when you are solving the problems based upon speed, distance and time. First of all, we need to convert these speeds into meter per second units, so that we can use the same unit of meter per second to get the required answer in terms of seconds. Alright, so first of all, let me recall for you, I have detailedly discussed about the conversion factor, that when you are about to convert the kilometer per hour speed into meter per second, you shall multiply it by 5 upon 18 to get the answer in terms of meter per second. So let's do that to convert the speeds, that is small s is equals to 40 km per hour into 5 upon 18 to get the answer, that is we're gonna get this 20 and this is 9, so we'll have this 100 by 9 meter per second as the reading for small s, the speed of first train, and the capital S we will get it to be 32 km per hour multiplied by 5 by 18, which will now convert it into meter per second, and that is here, as you notice, it's 16 5s are 80 by 9, right? So now with these speeds, we shall calculate the required answer for our question, which is about to get the time to cross over. T is equals to, that is small l plus capital L upon small s plus capital S. Why? Because the trains were running in opposite direction, and hence we're gonna get this answer to be 220 divided by S plus capital S. Please add this two reading. You're gonna get 180 upon 9, out of which 180 in the denominator, 9 in the numerator. So you could see that this answer comes out to be 11 seconds. Check the calculation if you required, right? And hence the correct key for this particular question is yes, option B. Alright, coming to the next formula based upon problems of trains. If two trains start at the same time from the points A and B towards each other, understand there are 2 points and one train is starting from the point A and another train is starting from the point B, and they are running towards each other, means they are running in opposite direction. Obvious? And now after crossing each other, they take certain time t, that is small t, and time capital T in reaching the points B and A respectively. Can you understand this line? Means after crossing over, the train which has started from the point A, it is taking the time small t to reach the point B, and the another train which was started from the point B to reach the point A, it is taking the time capital T. So if that is the case, we are in position to determine the ratio of their speeds, that is small s upon capital S, which will simply get it by under the root of capital T upon small t. So when you shall apply this particular formula for which kind of problems where they are asked you about ratio of the speeds of train, provided in the question the trains are running opposite to each other, towards each other, and they are crossing and taking the certain time small t and capital T to reach respective destinations. And hence with these details, we are ready to go with the problem, an example based upon this formula. So here is the example. Here is the example. Two trains, one from Mumbai to Hyderabad and other from Hyderabad to Mumbai. They start simultaneously, and after they meet, the two trains reach their destinations after 9 hours and 16 hours respectively. So one train is starting from Mumbai, another train is starting from Hyderabad. Mumbai train is reaching to Hyderabad and Hyderabad train is reaching to Mumbai. And after crossing over, the train from Hyderabad to reach Mumbai, right, it's taking the time 16 hours, and after crossing over, the train which has started from Mumbai to reach Hyderabad taking the time 9 hours. Understood the criteria? Mumbai to Hyderabad timing is 9 hours to reach after crossing over and 16 hours from Hyderabad to Mumbai. So for this, we are about to get the required answer, that is for the ratio of the speeds, that is the speed of the train which is starting from Mumbai to the speed of the train which is starting from Hyderabad, which are nothing but the notations as per the formula. The speed of first train which is starting from the first point indicated, here it's small s, and from the second point indicated, here it's capital S. Alright, so we are about to calculate small s by capital S reading, which will get it by under the root of capital T upon small t, which is equals to under the root of what's capital T value? Here we have capital T, that is the timing for the second train to reach the first destination, that is from Hyderabad to Mumbai, and for that we had the timing 16 hours. So 16 by the timing for Mumbai to Hyderabad train, that is 9. So under the root of 16, it's 4, square root of 16, and under the root of 9 is 3. So we got the ratio required, that is 4:3. And hence the right key for this particular question is option C only. Alright, coming to the next formula, and now this is a formula which is useful for problems based upon boats and stream. Very important formula, and very important in the sense most of the time there were the question in the defense examination directly asked about the speed of boat in still water or speed of stream, in other words speed of current. So let's understand what are they and when to apply them to get the required answer. So formula stated as, let the speed of boat in downstream be u km/h. Understand, this is the speed of boat when boat is running along with the stream, that is downstream. Okay, so the downstream speed is mentioned, and the speed of boat in upstream, okay, running against the stream, and that is mentioned to be v km/h. Then most frequently used shortcut formula, which I say, and it is useful for problem based on boats and stream. Boats and stream, when they are asking either in the question to get the speed of boat in still water either, or speed of boat, speed of stream or speed of current. So directly they will ask you in the question what is the speed of boat in still water, or they can also ask you a question what is the speed of current, what is the speed of stream. Okay, so here you have to understand that which formula will work out. When it is asked about boat speed in still water, go with the first formula, that is half times u plus v, and for the second you have to know that the criteria in the question is to get the speed of current or the speed of stream, and that is half times u minus v. But please be noted that what are u and v? Most of the students commit a mistake in taking the u and v value. They simply see the first two readings and go with the u and v. Understand, u and v are speeds. U and v are speeds. In defense examination, they might give you the speeds directly, that is downstream and upstream speed. But also there will be a question where they won't give speed directly, but they will give the distances for upstream and downstream, and they will give the respective time of motion for upstream and downstream. So you are the one to get the speeds. First of all, determine the speed by the basic formula of speed, right? Speed is equals to distance upon time. Use this formula to get the required speeds u and v, which are respectively speeds of downstream and upstream for a boat, right? And then you go ahead with this particular formula to calculate either the speed of boat in still water with the first formula A, and or the speed of stream or speed of current with the formula B. So let's check then an example. Let's see also which formula will work out for that. So in this example, we have a man who rows 32 km downstream, 32 km downstream and 14 km upstream. Understand the question. Distances are mentioned. Distance traveled by man or distance rowed by man 32 km downstream and 14 km upstream. And to travel that distance, the man is taking 6 hours to cover each distance. Now be careful here, time can be same or different, but here they mention that time is 6 hours, which is same for motion of man. The man is rowing upstream either for the certain distance 14 km and 32 km downstream. Okay, so for both the distances time is same 6 hours. So we have to determine speed of current. So as soon as you see such question, speed of current formula, you shall recall it is half into u minus v. But u and v are known to you in the question? No, not directly. They have given us the respective distances and the time. Although the time is same for both the direction, that is downstream and upstream motion. So here we have to first of all calculate u, which is by d by t time, and d is what? Here this 32 km time is 6 hours. So we have 32 by 6, right, which we get it to be 16 by 3 km per hour. And what is v? V, let us write capital D here. This distance traveled by person, the man that who is rowing upstream. Okay, that is the upstream speed, that is v, we know, right? So hence we have here for v d by the same time t, because time was same, so I am taking small t. Otherwise you can take capital T if the times are different. Alright, so this will become then 14 upon 6, which is 7 by 3 kilometers per hour. So now we are here ready to calculate now required speed, that is speed of current. Right, so speed of current, let's calculate. It is half times u minus v, that is equals to half times, see 16 by 3 minus 7 by 3. Okay, that will be 9 by 3, right, because 16 minus 7, 9 by 3, and you know that simplification is 3 by 2, which is nothing but 1.5 kilometer per hour, and hence the right choice has to be option A. And you can cross check here, the right key is option A only. Alright, and now here comes another formula for you for the chapter of speed, distance and time, wherein you find the number of questions in your defense examination. This formula is useful for problem based upon races. Okay, to know the detailed understanding of this particular topic, you can refer our required course bundle to get to know all the content, detailed content and the problem solving for this topic. So here now I am just explaining to you the formula, and I will also solve a problem based upon this particular formula. Alright, suppose there are two contestants who are in a race and the persons are A and B, and it is provided in a question that person A beats B by certain distance, that is x meters, and you know that the length of the track, that is the track they are running for to compete each other, is of length d meter. Understand the notation. Small d is a length of complete track. Okay, then the distance traveled by B when A finishes the race is equal to d minus x. Agree? Because it is provided that A is beating B, means A is ahead of B by distance x meter. So means what will be the distance covered by B then by the time A finishes his race? It's obvious. See, A is ahead of B. Okay, and this complete length is covered by the person D. Okay, but B is at this position B only. So he has, he is lag behind by the certain distance of x. So means B is covered how many distance from A to B, because they have started from the same point where A was there. Can you understand? So this distance is d minus x, and that is the d minus x. So now you know the distances for the person A and B they are traveling, right? So we can express then the ratio of their speed, because there is a race going on, right? So here we have the ratio of the speed, that is speed of A upon speed of B, given by the respective distances they are covering. The total distance covered by person A, because he was ahead and he beat the person B, right? And by the time the person B completed the distance d minus x. So ratio of the speeds of A and B with respect to the complete length of the track for the person A and B is given by d upon d minus x. Understand this formula. If suppose I say that there is another person C to whom person B is beating, so that case also when you are relating, you have to always compare with the complete length of the track. It has nothing to do with the person A, because person B is beating person C. So again you will be comparing the complete length of the track, that is D only, which will go with the speed of B ratio with the speed of C as d minus x only. If there is a same scenario that person B is beating C by x meters. So you understand this. This is a most important point. Got it? So ratio is speed of A upon speed of B equal to distance covered by A by beating the person B by certain amount of distance x meters. So the speed of B equivalent go with the distance of d minus x. Alright, so here is an example to make you understand this formula application. In a race of 200 meters, A can beat B by 50 meters. A is beating B by 50 meters, whereas there is a person B who is beating the third person C by 8 meters. And in the same race this is happening. So the person A, person B and person C, all three persons are in same race, and the length of the race must be fixed. It has to be fixed, right? Because they are competing each other, right? And it is mentioned that person A is beating the person B and person B is beating the person C. So in that case, how we can relate the person A can beat person C by what distance? We asked. So we shall find out the distance, that x, by which the person A is beating person C. So means that you will get it by the ratio of speed of A with respect to speed of C. Can you understand that? Right? So we have to go here step by step. First, use the formula to write the important note about the beating of person A, beating of the person B by A. So here we first of all write SA upon SB, which is as per the length of the track, that is 200 meters, d upon d minus x. What is that? It's a 200 minus 50. Understand here, this 200 and this 50. What are they? 200 is length of the track, it's D fixed, and this 50 meter, it is for the person, the person B. This is the length by which the person B has got beaten by A. Okay, so hence we are getting the equivalent distance for B. It's 200 minus 50. So it's 200 upon 150 the ratio. So I would say this is as equation 1. Because there is another criteria also, that person B is beating certain third person C, and that we write now, that is SB upon SC. And that will be, again, as I said, we have to compare with the complete length only, right? Beating of a person by other person. So 200 upon 200 minus the length that it is getting beaten by. So it's 8. So we're going to have, this is 200 upon 192. But we need to find the ratio of SA to SC, right? And hence we have to here take up the product of 1 with 2. We have to take the product so that we can cancel this SB and to get the SA. So SA upon SC will come out to be 200 upon 150 into 200 upon 192. And here you try to not, simplify the 200, because you shall have the form of the formula D by D minus X always to know this distance, the required distance by which the person is getting beaten by another person. You are getting my point? Because the length of the track was 200 fixed. So out of these two 200s in the numerator, just keep aside one 200 and solve the other 200. So here if you simplify this, 0, 0 cancel, and there you could see that it's 5, 3 and 5, 4. 4, 1, 4, 4s are 16, and then 4, 8s are we have. So we'll have there 200 upon 144. But 144 you don't want. You have to write that 144 as equivalent part of D minus X. So it's a 200 minus 56. Agree? And hence what is the required X then? 56. You are getting the point, because we have converted this to the original form of the required formula of races, that is D upon D minus X, and X amount we found there, the X length we found there, it's 56, and hence the required key for this question becomes option A only. Alright, I hope that this session is helpful to you to understand most of the important formulas for the topic of speed, distance and time. You have to stay tuned to SSBCrack exams for more such formula-based lecture for different topics, part of your numerical ability section in AFCAT exam. If you are an AFCAT aspirant, do not forget to check out the AFCAT courses. We have covered the detailed content for AFCAT exams subject-wise in detailed manner. You can download the mobile app SSBCrack exams from the Google Play Store, enroll for the AFCAT courses, and you can start your preparation from today so that you can crack your AFCAT written exam in very first attempt.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another session by SSBCrack exams. I am Drishti and today we are discussing with the most important formulas of numerical ability section of AFCAT, that is Air Force Common Admission Test. And in this particular session we will discuss the important formulas of time and work topic. So time and work is of utmost importance for your AFCAT point of view, as you are getting approximately 2 to 3 questions from this topic each and every year in your AFCAT exam. So study this topic very carefully, and these important formulas can help you in solving all the questions of time and work in very less time. Okay, so let's get started. So now let's discuss the first formula. So I hope all of you must know that in time and work, most important question is whenever you are given the alone time of completing a work of one person and alone time of completing a work of second person, right? And then we are required to find the time taken by both the persons if they are working together and completing the same work, right? So for that type of question, this formula will be very important, as in this formula it states that if A and B can do a piece of work in X days and Y days respectively, then the time taken by A and B together to complete the work will be xy upon x plus y days. So we can directly use this formula for finding the time taken by A and B together to complete the work, right? Similarly, if there are 3 persons and the time period, that is alone time of all the 3 persons is given, and we are required to find the time when all the three persons are working together and completing the same work, then we can easily find the time by using this formula. So it states that if A, B and C can do a piece of work in X days, Y days and Z days respectively, then the time taken by A plus B plus C together to complete the same work is XYZ upon XY plus YZ plus ZX, right? So this formula is nothing but the extension of this above formula only, right? So this is for 2 persons and this is for 3 persons, right? So you can easily read the statement of your question and you can easily check whether which formula should be applied to find the answer. So let's take an example based upon this formula. So here is the example, and in this example it states that if man A completes a piece of work in 12 days, the same work is completed by B and C in 15 days and 20 days respectively. So in how many days the work is completed if they work together, right? So here we are given 3 persons and the alone time of completing the work is also given. So here we can let 12 to be X, 15 to be Y and 20 to be Z, because 12 days is the alone time of A, 15 days is alone time of B and 20 days is alone time of C to complete the same work. Now we are required to find the time period taken by A plus B plus C to complete the same work, and we know the formula, that is XYZ upon XY plus YZ plus ZX, right? So now we can easily put the values of X, Y and Z in this formula. So here we have X as 12, Y as 15 and Z as 20, and here it will be 12 into 15 plus 15 into 20 plus 20 into 12. So now you can easily do the simplification and check directly that the answer for this question will be 5 days, right? So this will be very simple if you remember this formula and directly apply it to get the answer, right? Now coming upon to the second formula or the next formula of this lecture. So next formula states that if A and B can do a piece of work in X days, B and C can do a piece of work in Y days and C and A can do a piece of work in Z days, then the time taken by A, B and C together to complete the work will be 2xy upon xy plus yz plus zx, right? So you can see that this formula is somewhat similar to the previous one, but here we are given with the time period taken by A plus B together to complete a work is x days, then B plus C will be y days, and for C plus A the time is Z days. Now we are required to find the together time of A, B and C. So it will be A plus B plus C will complete the same work in 2xyz upon xy plus yz plus zx days, right? So if you remember this formula, you can easily solve this type of questions. So let's take an example based upon this formula. So here is the formula and it states that A and B can do a certain piece of work in 8 days, B and C can do it in 12 days and C and A can do it in 8 days. So A, B and C together can complete it in how many days? So here we can directly see that our X is 8, our Y is 12 and our Z is 8, because the time taken by A and B is 8, B and C is 12 and C and A is 8 days to complete the same work. So time taken by A plus B plus C to complete the same work will be 2xyz upon xy plus yz plus zx, right? So now you can easily put the values. So it will be 2 into our x is 8 into 12 into 8 divided by xy, that is 8 into 12 plus yz 12 into 8 plus 8 into 8, right? Now we have to simplify, so you can simplify it yourself also and directly see that 8 will cancel out from denominator and numerator, right? So it will be 2 into 12 into 8 divided by 12 plus 12 will be 24 and 24 plus 8 will be 32, right? So here 8 ones are 8, 8 fours are 32, 4 threes are 12 and it will be 6, right? So answer for this question should be 6 days, right? So now I hope this formula is clear to you. Now moving upon to our next formula, and it states that if A and B can complete a work in X days and A alone can complete the same work in Y days, then the number of days required to complete the work by B. So here in this formula we are given with the time taken by A and B together to complete the work, and the alone time of A is also given and we are required to find the alone time of B. So here A plus B takes X days to complete a work and A takes Y days to complete the same work, and we are required to find the time taken by B. So we can directly use this formula and it will be given by xy upon y minus x, right? And I have taken modulus in the denominator so that you can always remember that you have to subtract the bigger quantity from the smaller quantity in the denominator, right? So also you can see that always the time taken by a single person will be more than the time taken by two persons to complete the same work. So here y will always be a bigger quantity. That's why we will subtract x from y in the denominator. So let's take an example on this formula. Here is the example, and in this example it states that A and B can do a certain piece of work in 12 days and A alone can do it in 18 days. So in how many days can B alone do it? So now we know the formula, and it states that B alone will do the same work in xy upon y minus x days, right? So here our x is 12, our y is 18, because time taken by A and B is 12 and alone time of A is 18. So here it will be 12 into 18 divided by, here we have to subtract the smaller quantity from the bigger one. So it will be 18 minus 12, right? So it will be 12 into 18 divided by 6. 6 ones are 6, 6 twos are 12 and 18 twos are 36. So B alone will complete the same work in 36 days, right? So I hope this formula is also clear to you. Now moving upon to the next formula. So this is the next formula, and it is very important formula because most of the times you can directly get a lot of questions based upon this formula, right? So in this formula, if M1 men can do W1 work in D1 days, working H1 hours per day for rupees R1, right? And M2 men can do W2 work in D2 days, working H2 hours per day for rupees R2, right? Here R1 and R2 are the wages that they are getting for their work, right? Then we can directly use this result, that is M1 D1 H1 by W1 into R1 will be equals to M2 into D2 into H2 by W2 into R2, right? So here M1 M2 is the number of men or the number of persons working, right? Then D1 D2 is the number of days required by them to complete the work. Similarly, H1 and H2 is the number of hours required by them to complete, or they are working per day, right? Then W1 and W2 is the amount of work that they have completed, right? And R1 and R2 I have already told are the wages, okay, that they are getting for completing or doing their part of the work, right? So we can modify this formula according to the requirement of the questions. See, if in the question you are given that 12 men can complete a work in 8 days, working 2 hours per day, right? And the similar work is completed by 18 men working 10 days and working how many hours per day? So here you are given M1, D1 and H1 and M2, D2, and you are required to find that H2, right? So here you will directly use the formula M1, D1, H1 is equals to M2, D2, H2, right? So like that we can always customize the formula based upon the things given in the question, right? So let's take an example. Here is the example, and it is given that if 4 men working 4 hours per day for 4 days complete 4 units of work, then how many units of work will be completed by 2 men working 2 hours per day in 2 days, right? So here we can directly see that 4 men, that is M1, working for 4 hours per day, that is H1, and for 4 days, so that is D1, and 4 units of work they have completed, that is W1, right? Then we are required to find 2 men, that is M2 will be 2, working for 2 hours per day, that is H2, for 2 days they have worked, right? So it is D2, and we are required to find the amount of work or the units of work they have done, that is we are required to find a W2 here, right? So here there is no need to include the wages in the formula, as nothing about wages is given here. So we can customize our formula accordingly. So formula will be M1 D1 H1 by W1 is equals to M2 D2 H2 by W2, right? Now we can easily put the values. So M1 is 4, D1 is also 4, and H1 is also 4, and W1 is also 4, right? Similarly, M2 is 2, D2 is also 2, and H2 is also 2, and we are required to find our W2, right? So here this 4 will cancel out with this 4 will cancel here 2 2's, right? So now we can see that W2 will be equals to 2 by 4, that is 1 by 2, or I can say it as 0.5 units, right? So 2 men working 2 hours per day in 2 days will complete 0.5 units of work. That is option B is the correct answer for this question, right? So I hope this important formula is clear to you, and now you will be able to use this formula very well in your examination, right? Now coming upon to next formula. So next formula states that if M men or N women can do a piece of work in D days, then X men and Y women together finish the same work in M into N into D by Xn plus Ym, right? So this is a bit complicated formula. So firstly let's write what is given in the statement. So it states that M men, here or, right? So or means either M men's or N women, right, can complete a work in D days, and we are required to find the time taken by X men and Y women, that is plus Y women, to complete the same work. So now we have to remember the formula. So in the numerator we will take the multiplication of above 3 terms, that is M cross N cross D, right? So it will be M into N into D divided by, we will cross multiply here. So this will be multiplied with this, and this will be multiplied with this. So in the denominator we will get X into N plus M into Y, right? So by this diagram you can always remember this formula, right? So whenever you are given M men or N women can do a piece of work, so you can also given like 8 men or 7 boys can do a work, right? So there can be anybody, but if it is given with the or, then you will use this formula to find the time period required by X men and Y women to complete the same amount of work, right? So let's take an example. So here is the example, and in this example it states that if 3 men or 4 women can reap a field in 43 days, right? So how long will 7 men and 5 women take to reap it? So firstly we'll write the things given in the question again. So it is given 3 men or 4 women, right? Can complete the work in 43 days. Then we are required to find 7 men plus 5 women will complete the work in how many days? So I have already told you how to remember the formula. In the numerator, multiply the given 3 terms, right? So it will be 4 into 3 into 43 divided by, there will be cross multiplication. So 7 into 4 plus this will multiply with this, that is 5 into 3, right? So now you can easily simplify this. So it will be 4 into 3 into 43 divided by 7 4s are 28 plus 5 3s are 15. That is 28 plus 15. So 28 plus 15 is 43. So this 43 will cancel out with this 43 and answer will be 4 into 3. That is 12 days, right? So now I hope all the formulas that I have covered in this particular session based upon work and time are very much clear to you. So please remember these formulas and try to implement or practice some amount of questions based upon these formulas so that you will be able to apply them correctly in your examination, as they are gonna save a lot of time for you in the examination if you remember them and apply them correctly, right? Also, if you are preparing for your upcoming AFCAT exam and want to excel in your preparation, you can always check our courses of AFCAT, and also you can download our learning app, as it will be very much helpful for you in your preparation and will help you in clear your exam with the flying colors. And for more such interesting and useful sessions, stay tuned to SSBCrack exams. Jai Hind. Hello everyone, I am Drishti and I am back with another session of most important formulas of the topic time and work of your numerical ability section of AFCAT examination. So I have already told you that time and work is a very interesting and important topic from your AFCAT exam point of view, and in this particular session also we will discuss some of the interesting and the easiest formulas by using which you will be able to save a lot of time in your examination. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So this is the formula, and it states that if A can do a work in X days and B can do Y% faster than A, then B will complete the work in 100x upon 100 plus Y days. Right? So here we are given that B is more efficient than A. And how much more efficient? He is Y% more efficient or the faster than A. Then in that particular case, if A can complete a work in X days, then in how many days will B will complete the work? So B will complete the work in 100x upon 100 plus Y days. Right? So this is the very easy and important formula, as you can always get this type of question in your examination. So whenever you are given with the time taken by A to complete the work, and also it is given that B is more efficient than A by some Y%, then in that case you can easily calculate the time taken by B to complete that work by using the formula 100x upon 100 plus Y days. Right? So let's take an example based upon this formula. So this is the example, and it states that Komal can do a work in 15 days. Right? So this is Komal and she can do a work in 15 days. Vimal is 50% more expert than Komal to complete the same work. Then find the total time taken by Vimal to complete the work. So here we can directly see that our X is 15. That is, our A will be Komal, and Komal can complete the work in 15 days. Now Vimal is Y% more efficient, that is, he is 50% more efficient than Komal. So here Y will be 50. Now we are required to find the time taken by Vimal to complete the same work. In how many days like he will complete the work. Right? So we know the formula, and it states that 100x upon 100 plus Y days. Right? So this will be the time period taken by Vimal to complete the same work. Now we know that X is 15 and Y is 50. So let's put the values. So it will be 100 into 15 divided by 100 plus 50. Right? So it will be 100 into 15 divided by 150. So this 0 cancels with this 0. 15 ones are 15. So we have got the answer as 10 days, right? Let's check. So yes, 10 days is the correct answer, right? Now coming upon to the next formula, so it states that if A takes X days more to complete a work than time taken by A plus B to do the same work, right? And B takes Y days more than the time taken by A plus B to complete the same work, then A plus B will do the same work in under the root of X into Y days, right? So this type of, you can directly get this formula or use this formula by checking the statement of your question only. So whenever you are given that A takes X days more than the time taken by A plus B to complete the work, and B takes Y days more than the time taken by A plus B to complete the work, then A plus B will complete the same work in under the root of X into Y days. Here X is the number of days taken by A more than A plus B, and Y is the number of days taken by B more than A plus B, right? So now let's check the example. So this is the example, and it states that when A does a piece of work in 16 days more than the time taken by A plus B to complete the work, while B alone takes 9 days more than the time taken by A plus B to finish the same work, what time A and B together will take to finish the work, right? So here we can directly see that A is taking 16 days more than the time taken by A plus B. So here our X will be 16 and B is taking 9 days more than A plus B. So here Y will be 9, right? Now we are required to find the time period taken by A and B together to complete the same work. So in that case, we know the formula and it will be directly given by under the root of X into Y. Here X is our 16 and Y is our 9. So we know that under the root of 16 is 4 and under the root of 9 is 3. So it will be 4 3s are 12 days, right? So answer should be option C. Let's check. So yes, option C is correct only. Coming upon to next formula, so it states that if A, B and C can do a piece of work in X, Y and Z days respectively, then they received rupees K as wages by working together, right? So they have got the rupees K for working together and complete a given piece of work, right? Now we are required to calculate the share of A, B and C alone, right? So share of A will be given by rupees YZ upon XY plus YZ plus ZX into K. Then share of B will be given by rupees XZ divided by XY plus YZ plus ZX into K. Then share of C will be given by rupees XY divided by XY plus YZ plus ZX into K. Right? So we have to remember that in the numerator we are taking the multiplication of the time taken by other two persons except A, right? So when we are calculating the share of A, we are taking the time of B and C, right? That is Y into Z. Similarly, for B, we are taking the time period of A and C, and for C, we are taking the time period of A and B, right? And in the denominator, we are having the sum, that is xy plus yz plus zx, and into k because we have to find the part of k that is given to A, B and C respectively, right? Also you can remember this because we know that if A is completing the work in x days, then his one day work will be 1 by x, and one day work of B will be 1 by y, and one day work of C will be 1 by z. Right? Now you can find the ratio of their works and then you can easily find the share of A, B and C respectively by taking the LCMs. So you can see that it will be equals to YZ ratio XZ ratio XY. Right? So here share of A will be YZ divided by YZ plus XZ plus XY. Similarly, share of B will be XZ divided by YZ plus XZ plus XY, and share of C will be xy divided by yz plus xz plus xy, right? So you can also find the formula by using this approach, or you can directly remember this formula, as it will be very much easy for you while solving the question. Now let's take an example. So this is the example, and it states that A alone can do a piece of work in 6 days, B can do in 8 days, and C can do in 24 days. So they undertook to do it for rupees 3200. So they are getting 3200 for the complete work. So how much is to be paid to C? Right? So we are required to calculate the share of C. So we know that share of C will be given by time period of A and B. So time period of A will be x into y divided by the total sum, that is xy plus yz plus zx into k. That is the total amount given to them, right? So here we can see that x is 6, y is 8 and z is 24, right? So now we can put the values. So it will be equals to 6 into 8 divided by 6 into 8 plus 8 into 24 plus 6 into 24, right? Now we can easily calculate this. So firstly we can do some simplifications. So here we can see that this 8 will cancel out with this 8, and 8 3s are 24, right? Similarly 6 will cancel out with this 6, 6 4s are 24, and this 6 will also cancel out. So it will be equals to 1 divided by 1 plus 4 plus 3. So it will be 8 and into k, right? So k is our 3200. So it will be into 3200. So 8 ones are 8, 8 fours are 32, right? Hence answer, that is the amount that is paid to C, will be rupees 400. That is option B should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option B is correct only, right? Now coming upon to the other important formulas that are related to the topic of pipes and cisterns. So first of all, let me tell you that all the formulas that are applicable in the case of work and time are also applicable in the case of pipe and cisterns. But there is just one difference, that in the case of pipe and cisterns, we are having two types of pipes. One is inlet and the other one is outlet, right? So what is the work of inlet? Inlet will fill the tank and outlet will empty it, right? So whenever an outlet is working, we have to take the time period of outlet as negative, or the work of an outlet pipe will be negative, because it is emptying the tank instead of filling it, right? And rest all the formulas and everything is same as we have discussed for time and work topic, right? So let's discuss some of the important formulas of this topic also. So here, if a pipe can fill a tank in x hours and another pipe can either fill or empty the tank in y hours, right? Then the net part filled in 1 hour when both the pipes opened is this. See, we know that if A pipe can fill the tank in x hours and B pipe can fill the tanks in y hours. We are taking the case of filling. See, we can write it here. A can fill the tank in x hours and B can fill the tank in y hours, right? So 1 hour work of A and B will be equals to 1 by x plus 1 by y, right? So in 1 hour they will be filling the 1 by x plus 1 by yth part of the tank. So the total time period taken by A and B together to fill the tank will be reciprocal of this. So it will be equals to xy upon x plus y, right? Now similarly, B is emptying the tank instead of filling it, right? So in that case, the work done by B will be taken as negative. So 1 hour work of x will be 1 by x, but 1 hour work of B will be minus 1 by y, right? So in that case, the part of tank filled in 1 hour will be 1 by x minus 1 by y. So the total time taken by pipe A and B together to fill the tank will be equals to xy upon x minus y, right? So that's why we have taken both plus and minus here. So this plus sign denotes that both are inlet pipes, and this negative sign shows that the pipe B that is which can empty the tank in y hours is a outlet pipe. Okay. Now similarly we can extend this formula up to the 3 pipes, right? So for 3 pipes, when you are given with the 3 pipes and they can fill the tank in x, y and z hours respectively, right? So then 1 hour work of A will be 1 by x, 1 hour work of B will be 1 by y and 1 hour work of C will be 1 by z. So the total part of the tank that will be filled in 1 hour will be equals to 1 by x plus 1 by y plus 1 by z. Hence all the 3 pipes will together fill the tank in x, y, z upon xy plus yz plus zx hours. Right? So I hope these two formulas are very much clear to you. Now let's discuss an example based upon this formula so that you will be able to apply this formula easily in your examination, right? So this is the example and it states that 3 pipes A, B and C can fill the tank in 4, 5 and 10 hours respectively. Find the time taken by all the 3 pipes together to fill the tank. So we have already known the formula for this case. Here we can see that our x is 4, our y is 5 and our z is 10, right? So and the required formula is x, y, z divided by xy plus yz plus zx, right? So this is the time period taken by all the 3 pipes together to fill the tank. So now we can easily put the values of x, y and z and it will be equals to 4 into 5 into 10 divided by 4 into 5 plus 5 into 10 plus 4 into 10, right? Now we can easily solve this out. So we can cancel out this 10 from the denominator and numerator. So this 10 will cancel out with this 10, with this 10, this 5 and this will be 4, 2, right? So now again we can simplify it. So it will be 5 4s are 20 divided by 5 plus 2 is 7 and 7 plus 4 will be 11. Hence answer should be 20 by 11. That is option A should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option A is correct only. Now coming upon to the next important formula of your pipe and cistern topic. So this is somewhat related to the previous one only, but in this case we have taken an outlet pipe in the case of 3 pipes, right? So let's discuss. If a pipe fills a tank in x hours and another pipe fills the same tank in y hours, but a third pipe empties the full tank in x hours and all of them are opened together, the net part of the tank filled in 1 hour will be this, right? And the total time period taken by all the 3 pipes together to fill the tank will be xyz upon yz plus zx minus xy hours, right? So in this case also we are given that A can fill a tank in x hours, B can fill a tank in y hours, but C can empty the tank in z hours, right? So here 1 hour work of A will be 1 by x, 1 hour work of B will be 1 by y, but 1 hour work of C will be minus 1 by z, right? So the part of tank filled in 1 hour will be equals to 1 by x plus 1 by y minus 1 by z, right? Now to find the total time period taken by all the 3 tanks to fill the tank together, all the 3 pipes to fill the tank together will be equals to the reciprocal of the 1 hour of the part that is filled in 1 hour. So it will be equals to xyz divided by yz plus zx minus xy, right? Now let's discuss a question based upon this formula. So here is the question and it states that if 2 pipes A and B can fill a tank in 20 and 10 hours respectively, but there is also a third pipe C that can empty the tank in 30 hours. So find the time taken by all the 3 pipes to fill the tank together, right? So here our x is 20, our y is 10 and our z is 30, right? Now we have to find the total time period taken by all the 3 pipes to fill the tank. So this is equals to x, y, z divided by yz plus zx minus xy. Because our third pipe is a outlet pipe, in that case we have to take the negative sign in the multiplication of the time period of other two pipes, right? So always remember this thing if you don't remember the formula correctly. Okay. Now let's put the values of x, y and z in this formula. So it will be equals to 20 multiplied by 10 into 30 divided by 20 into 30 plus 10 into 30 minus 20 into 10, right? So here again this 10 and this 0 will cancel out with this and this, here this and this, and here this and this, right? So it will directly be equals to 2 into 30, that is 60, divided by 2 into 3, that is 6, plus 3 minus 2, right? So it will be equals to 60 divided by 7, hence it should be equals to 8.5 hours, right? Hence the correct answer should be option B. Let's check. So yes, option B is correct only. So now I hope all the important formulas based upon time and work topic and also from pipe and cisterns are very much clear to you. So if you are preparing for your upcoming AFCAT exam, then these formulas will be very much helpful for you and they will save a lot of time in your examination. Also to make your preparation rock solid, you can always check our courses and download our learning app. That will be very much helpful for you in boosting your performance and will help in clear the exam with the flying colors. Also for more such interesting sessions, stay tuned to SSBCrack exams. Jai Hind. Hello everyone, welcome back to another session by SSBCrack exams. I am Drishti and today I am here with some of the most important formulas of your numerical ability section of AFCAT, that is Air Force Common Admission Test. And today in this particular session, we will discuss the important formulas of average. So from average, we are getting approximately 2 to 3 questions from every year in your numerical ability section of AFCAT, and this itself make it a very important topic. And learning some of the important formulas from this topic will help you in saving your time in your examination and clear it with the flying colors. So without wasting any time, let's start with the formulas. So this is the formula and this is the basic formula that all of you must know, that average is given by sum of all the data values divided by number of total values whose sum we have taken in the numerator, right? So we can also say it as sum upon the number of terms, right? So this is the basic and the important formula, and each and every important question of average can be solved using this formula. So let's discuss an example based upon this formula. So this is the example and it states that the average of 5 consecutive odd numbers is 61. What is the difference between the highest and the lowest numbers? So we have to take consecutive odd numbers. So firstly, you all must know what are odd numbers. So let me tell you, odd numbers are 1, 3, 5 and up to so on. The numbers which are not divisible by 2 are odd numbers. Now we have to take consecutive 5 odd numbers. So let first odd number be x. Now we can take the next odd number as x plus 2 and the next odd number as x plus 4. Similarly, I can take x minus 2 and x minus 4 as also an odd number. Because if x is an odd number, then every number with a difference of 2 will be an odd number, right? So now we have given that the average of these 5 odd numbers is 61, right? So we know that average is always equals to the sum of numbers divided by total numbers. So total numbers are 5 here. And this average is given to be 61, right? Now we can solve and find the value of x here. So this 4 will cancel with this 4, this 2 will cancel with this 2, and it will be 5x by 5 is equals to 61. That is x 61. That is x is equals to 61, right? So we have got the value of x. Now we have to take the difference between the highest and the lowest number. right? So here the highest number is x plus 4. So this is equals to 61 plus 4. That will be 65, and the lowest number is x minus 4, right? So this will be equals to 61 minus 4, which is equals to 57. Now we have to take the difference of these two numbers. So 65 minus 57 will be equals to 8, right? So answer should be option A, right? Let's check. So yes, option A is correct only. Now coming upon to next formula, so it states that average of a group consisting of two different groups when their averages are known. So in this case, we will be given with the averages of two different groups, and we have to find the combined average of both the groups, right? So here let A be a group contains m quantities and their average is A, and group B contains n quantities and their average is B. Then the average of group C containing m plus n quantities, that is group C contains the quantities of group A plus group B, right? So this will be given by MA plus NB divided by M plus N, right? So here we are given that group A contains m quantities and their average is A. Group B contains n quantities and their average is B, right? So the combined average of both the groups, that is the combined average of m plus n, will be given by MA plus NB divided by m plus n, right? So this is the easiest formula, as in the denominator we have to take the total quantities and in the numerator we have to take the sum of both the groups, right? Now coming upon to next formula, so this is similar to the above formula, but here there is a little difference. Let's check. So if average of m quantities is A and the average of n quantities out of them is B, then the average of rest of the quantities will be MA minus NB divided by m minus n, right? So see, if here you are given with some m quantities, right? And these are some n quantities. Okay, so now we are given with the average of these m quantities as A and these n quantities as B, right? Now we have to find the average of these rest of the quantities, that is m minus n quantities, right? So it will be equals to the sum of the all the more number of quantities, that is MA minus NB divided by total number of quantities. So it will be m minus n, right? So this will be the formula for finding the average of the remaining number of quantities. Okay, now let's take an example based upon this. So this is an example and it states that the average age of 30 girls is 13 years. The average age of first 18 girls is 15 years. Find out the average age of remaining 12 girls, right? So here we are given that average age of 30 girls is 13 years and the average age of 18 girls, that is first 18 girls, is given by 15 years. And here we are required to find the average age of remaining 12 girls, right? So here we will use the second one formula, that is MA minus NB divided by M minus N. So here our M is 30, our N is 18, our A is 13 and our B is 15. Okay, now let's put all the values here. So it will be 30 into 13 minus N into B. So here 18 into 15 divided by M minus N, that is 12, right? So now we can simplify this to find our answer. So here we know that 3 4s are 12 and 3 5s are 15. Similarly, 3 10s are 30, right? Now 2 5s are 10, 2 9s are 18 and 2 2s are 4, right? So it will be 13 5s are. So 13 5s are 65 minus 9 5s are 45 divided by 2. So 65 minus 45 will be 20 by 2, that is 10 years, right? So the average age of remaining 12 girls will be 10 years. That is option A should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option A is correct only. Now coming upon to the next formula. So this is also a very important formula, as solving this type of question can be lengthy by the traditional method. So we should remember this formula and apply this to find the answer very quickly, right? So if the average of n numbers is A, and on rechecking it is noticed that two numbers A and B are taken wrongly as C and D, then the correct average is A plus B minus C plus D divided by n. Right? So here we are given with the average of n numbers as A. Okay. Now it is given that from these n numbers, two quantities, that is small a and small b, were taken wrongly as C and D. So we have calculated this average using C and D instead of A and B. Right? Now we have to find the correct average. So here firstly we need to subtract this C and D from the sum of n numbers, and then we have to add this A and B here. So here this average will be A plus. Firstly we are adding the correct numbers, that is A plus B. So A plus B we are adding, then we are subtracting the wrong numbers, that is C plus D. Right? Then we are dividing it with n, that is the total number, so that we can find the average, because we know that the average is equals to sum upon total. So it will be n here, and by solving we can easily get the new average. Okay. So let's take an example, it will be more clear to you. So here this is the example, and it states that the average of 50 observations was 36. So average of 50 observation is given to be 36. It was found later that an observation 48 was wrongly taken as 23. So the new average is, so out of this 50 observation we have taken one observation, that is 48 was taken wrongly as 23. Okay, and we have to find the correct average. So firstly we know the formula, and it is A plus, here we know A only because we are taken only one observation wrong, minus B divided by n. Okay, so here are A, that is the previous average is 36. Okay, plus firstly we will add the correct digit. So the correct number is 48, because we have taken it as 23. So 48 is the correct number. So 48 minus 23, which was the wrong number. Okay, divided by the total number, that is 50. Right? So it will be 36 plus 48 minus 23 will be 25 divided by 50. So 25 ones are and 25 twos are. So it will be 36 plus 0.5, that is 36.5. Right? So the correct average of the 50 observation will be 36.5. That is option C should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option C is correct only. Now coming upon to next formula. So this formula is a very important and must do formula, because you can get a direct question based upon this formula, and it can be very much time consuming if you don't remember the formula. Okay, so always remember this formula, and it will be very much helpful for you while solving the question. Okay, so in this formula it states that if in a group one or more new quantities are added or excluded, then the sum of added or the excluded, that is the sum of the new quantities, will be given by change in the number of quantities into original average plus or minus change in the average into final number of quantities. Right? And we are taking positive sign if we are adding the quantities, and the negative sign if we are removing the quantities. Okay, so here you can take it as like we are given a group of 20 people and their average is something, say A. Right? Then we are adding 5 more people to this group, and we don't know the exact average, but we know that the average will increase by two number. Okay. Then we are required to find the sum of the new quantities that we have added. Right? So here, firstly, we have to take the change in number of quantities. So we have added 5 more quantities. So 5 quantities have increased from the previous one. So change in the quantities will be 5 here, multiplied by the original average. So here original average is A, because A is the average of 20 people. That was the initial people. So here the original average will be A. Then here we are adding the people, or the number of people we are adding here. So this will be a plus sign. Then change in the average. So this average is increasing by 2. So change will be 2 here. Then the final number of quantities. So final number of quantities will be 25 plus 5, that is 20 plus 5, that is 25. Right? So I hope now this formula must be clear to you, as by applying this formula, now you'll get the sum of the new 5 quantities that we have added. Right? Now let's take an example based upon this. So this is the example, and it states that the average age of 40 students in a class is 15 years. So there are 40 students in a class and their average is 15 years. Now when 10 new students are added or admitted to the class, the average is increased by 0.2 years. Right? Now we are required to find the average age of the new students. So to find the average age of the new student, firstly we need to find the sum of their ages, right? And for that we can use our formula. So here our formula states that if we know the previous average, if we know the change in the number of students and the change in the average, then we can easily find the sum of the new quantities or the new students that we have added, right? So here firstly we have to take the change in the number of quantities. So previously it was 40 and then 10 students are added. So 10 students are added, that means the change in the number of quantities is 10 here. So firstly we have to take 10 multiplied by original average, and original average is 15 here, right? Then here we are adding the quantities, and we know that in the case of adding we have to take the plus sign, and then we have to take the change in the average. So change in the average is 0.2 years, and it is clearly given that the average will be increased by 0.2 years. So change here will be 0.2 years multiplied by the new quantities, that is the 40 plus 10. So our final quantity will be 50, right? Now we have to solve this out. So here it will be equals to 10 into 15 is 150, plus here this is 10 and this 0 will cancel with this 0, plus 10, right? So it will be 160. So sum of the ages of the new people, that is sum of ages of new 10 students, is 160, and we have to find the average age of those 10 students, and we know that average is given by sum upon total. So total is 10 here. So this 10 will cancel with this 0 and the answer will be 16 years. So the average of the 10 students which we are adding after some time are 16 years. That is option C should be the correct answer. Let's check. So yes, option C is correct only. Now let's discuss some of the basic and interesting formulas that you can apply directly in order to solve the questions if you get based upon these formulas. Okay. So first one states that average of first n natural numbers, it is n plus 1 by 2. Okay. So average of first 10 natural numbers means 1 plus 2 plus up to n. So we have to find their average. So we know that sum of first n numbers will be n into n plus 1 by 2, and for average we have to divide by the total quantity, that is n here. So this n cancels this n and the formula will be n plus 1 by 2, right? Similarly, the average of square of first n numbers, that is 1 square plus 2 square up to n square. The average of this series will be given by n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6, right? Again, for the cube of the first n natural numbers, we can, that is 1 cube plus 2 cube up to n cube. So the average of this series will be given by n into n plus 1 whole square divided by 4. Okay. Now the average of first n even natural numbers is very easy and it is given by n plus 1. Similarly, the average of first n odd numbers is given by n here, right? So if you are given with the first and even natural numbers, that is 2, 4, 6 up to 2n, then the average will be n plus 1, and for the first n odd numbers, that is 1, 3, 5 up to 2n minus 1 is given by n. So now I hope all the formulas based upon average topic are very much clear to you, and you will be able to apply these formulas in the question while in the examination, so that you can save the time and can solve the questions accurately, right? Also, if you are preparing for your upcoming AFCAT exam, you can always check our courses and download our learning app. That will be very much helpful in your preparation and will help you excel in your examination, right? And for more such interesting and helpful sessions, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams. Jai Hind.